podcast doesn't exist. Episode 70. Welcome back. Another day, another dollar, another week, another MVP debate. The debate that won't go away. Shohei Ohtani versus Pico Armstrong. It's been the debate that has taken over the league the past, I guess, 2 months. I mean, there was a point where Pico Armstrong was shit. If we rewind, Mitchell, what point of the season do we have to go back before we were like, okay, Pico Armstrong, is it time to worry about PCA?
Through the first month of this season, he had a 669 OPS.
669 OPS. And
at the end of May, he had a 713 OPS.
Jesus Christ.
So since the beginning of June, he's really just been unstoppable.
Do you mind giving me a tidbit of information? What's his stats since?
So since the beginning of June, he has a 314 batting average, 419 on base percentage, 693 slugging. That's a 1.112 OPS, 26 homers, 57 RBIs, 20 stolen bases, 2020 since the beginning of June.
Not bad, and that's good enough for some people to argue that he is better than the greatest athlete on earth, and he actually deserves the MVP over Ohtani, the second coming himself. Who would say this? But this week, Pico Armstrong will not go away. This week, 9 for 24, batted .375, 1,083 slugging percentage this week. Hit 5 home runs this week and has hit 6 home runs in his last 7 games. And it begs the question, has he surpassed the three-sword samurai?
Who am I speaking with?
Shohei Ohtani.
Thank you. How may I help you?
So I tried to log in to online banking.
Some people think he has. So Pico Armstrong hit his 30th home run this week. So the second straight season with 30 home runs and 30 steals. The first Cubs player in history to have 30 home runs and 30 steals in back-to-back seasons. The next day, it's another leadoff home run. So this guy hit a leadoff home run, then hit a walk-off home run in the same game. The next day, it's another leadoff home run. That is the first time in MLB history, I believe, someone has done that.
Yeah, it was the first time ever.
In a 2-game span to have 2 leadoff home runs and a walk-off home run. Not freaking bad, bro. That is 3 home runs in 10 innings. Or maybe 11 innings. Ends up hitting 5 home runs this week and leads the NL in slugging and OPS. Currently has 8.1 B-WAR, which is 1.2 B-WAR more than Ohtani. So if you compare the two based on stats, PCA's got him beaten WAR, got more games played, more plate appearances, more hits, more homers by 3 home runs. PCA is out homering Ohtani, which you didn't have in the preseason prediction book. Unless you did, then in that case. But I did not. He's got a little bit more RBIs and a lot more steals for PCA. Ohtani does lead in batting average and on-base percentage. So PCA has the slight edge in the offensive categories, but if you look at it, OPS Plus has him tied, equally tied at 158 OPS Plus. The argument for Ohtani is the pitching. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but Ohtani was a starting pitcher until the All-Star break, and that was pretty good when he did that. 85 innings pitched, 1.79 ERA with 3 FWAR for Ohtani. Now, if you want to compare that to closers, Mason Miller has a .83 ERA in 54 innings pitched. He's got a 3.3 FWAR, so pretty much the same wins above replacement according to Fangraphs. Louis. Why do you say Louis and has S in it?
So his name is Louis. His full name. He comes up, he goes by Louis. He spells his name Louie. For whatever reason, he's like, professionally, I'm going to go by Louis, but everybody's still going to call me Louis. So now it just looks like his name is Louis with an S.
Louis, bro. Louis Varland, second most valuable relief pitcher in baseball, has 66 innings pitched and a 1.22 ERA, 2.6 WAR. So Ohtani's got him beat. Ohtani would essentially be the second or first best reliever in baseball based on his value as a starter. So that is the huge fucking question. Is Ohtani, since him and PCA basically have the same offensive stats, give or take, what is better? An elite defender in PCA, who was 9th in defensive runs saved, 2nd in outs above average, 2nd in defensive WAR, or half a season of elite starting pitcher, which is Ohtani. And the people are begging to know your opinion, Mitchell. What do you think?
I'm leaning PCA. But
you are, because he's a stat dork, and stat dorks lean PCA because I don't know why.
I will say Ohtani has pitched 85 innings this year as a starting pitcher. Right now, there are 2 players with an ERA lower than Ohtani who have pitched 80 innings or more. It's Troy Melton of the Detroit Tigers and Jacob Mizorowski.
Maybe they should have MVP.
We've talked a lot about Garrett Cole. I think last week he's had a fantastic season. 92 innings. His ERA is almost double Ohtani. So
listen, also we have to take into account the fact that Ohtani will be coming back soon. But even without that, I just feel like if they're equal pitching, I don't know how you can be that good at defense to surpass.
Well, it's not just the defense. PCA has him on the base running.
Has some steals, has more steals than Ohtani. That is true. So he's got steals and he's got defense. But Ohtani has 80 fucking innings pitched with a 1.79 ERA and is a unicorn. That's never happened in baseball history. It's the hardest thing of all time. He's the greatest athlete on earth. I just don't see how like you could. I mean, wouldn't you replace if you could take PCA's offense, which is like the second or third best offensive hitter in baseball this year, and you turn him into an average defender or replacement level defender, whatever, and then add an elite closer to your team, would you do it? Would you trade that? I would.
Trading aspects of players.
Yeah, like you're trading PCA's defense. You're taking PCA and you're making him an average defender or replacement level defender, and then instead of PCA's defense being good, you have PCA's mediocre defense, but you add the second best closer in baseball. You're not doing that.
I mean, I guess
I'm doing that 10 out of 10 times, bro. And that's why Ohtani's the GOAT, and he still is going to win his 4th MVP, bro.
I mean, people are not very pleased with your argument of a closer, with Ohtani being a starter. That people will argue like the leverage of a closer. Ohtani's never pitching in that.
Got it. I see what you mean. But okay, let's just say half a season then. Half a season of an elite starter. According to the analytics, that's even more valuable.
I mean, how much do you value availability though? Like PCA has been available every single game of the year.
So is Ohtani.
Ohtani has sort of been available every single game of the year, but a big part of his game has not been available for the past 2 months.
That's true, but he's still playing every day.
And then with the Dodgers starting pitching, they've had some injuries. They've had some wear and tear. They've had guys like Blake Snell come back, but they've also had guys. I think Dave Roberts a week or two ago was saying, "Yeah, we're kind of wearing thin on the bullpen."
Do you think a team like the Cubs, who have had some injuries in that lineup, in that pitching rotation, they would have really liked a half a season of an elite starter? I would say, if I had to guess, Ohtani made how many starts?
What, like 12?
12 starts? They're winning
14.
So they're winning at least 10 of those starts. Give or take 10 after compare that to an average starter. That's probably like 5 or 6 wins, bro.
But you also have to ask, how many wins is PCA giving the Cubs, who have a pretty average pitching staff? How many extra wins is his defense giving the team? Because, he's saving runs in the outfield.
On the defense, but he's actually not that good at outfield. And let's not forget the time he missed that ball in the lights and the time where he didn't catch that ball and told that lady to suck his dick in the outfield. 2 plays he could have had that he did not have. Let's not forget. It's
also like saying, remember when Ohtani allowed 3 runs to the Pirates,
Okay, but he got fucking pinched by the umpire. And Dalton Rushing. And Ohtani had to pitch with Dalton Rushing behind the plate, like 3 starts. If Will Smith never got injured, Ohtani would have a .01 ERA right now. And he probably would have never got injured.
So should Will Smith be the MVP?
And maybe Will Smith is the MVP. We did see Ohtani pitch to Will Smith this weekend facing live batters. So that's another thing to throw in there. Ohtani threw 30 pitches this weekend, expected to have a start next homestand. And next homestand would be Monday, September 1st. So let's say Ohtani makes that start. Ohtani's going to get about 3 or 4 more starts this regular season. If he's throwing 30 pitches, live pitches, I'd predict that his first start, he'd probably be throwing around 50, 60 pitches. So not full length, but that will help his case if he performs well, which, I mean, come on, we all know he is because he's Shohei Ohtani. But, it's going to be an interesting debate going on, and people will keep debating it. But either way, man, I mean, PCA has not gone away quietly. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't surpassed Ohtani, because every time I look over, he's hitting leadoff and walk-off home runs.
I will say, like, I'm not all in on PCA as the MVP, but I think as it stands right now, especially with Ohtani just hitting for the last 2 months and PCA playing elite defense, he's an elite base runner. Ohtani's a good base runner. He's not an elite base runner. It kind of feels like it's leaning PCA. But if, let's say, Ohtani comes out, has 4 excellent starts, it's a close race.
It is funny, man, because people are like, valuing like base running. I mean, steals, definitely you're gonna like give that, and the defense, you gotta factor these in as a baseball mind. We have great baseball minds. However, when you want to take the argument of, what is the word I'm looking for? Just Ohtani fatigue. I wouldn't say fatigue, but like we've gotten used to his like being 10 out of 10 great shit. If this was Ohtani's first season in MLB and he's thrown 86 innings and he leads the league in offense, do you think there would be any debate right now on who would be the MVP, narrative wise?
Possibly not, but I definitely have argued in the past that people take Ohtani for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, PCA is having one of those seasons. It's not quite Judgian in the sense where in 2022, Aaron Judge was just such a good hitter that he won MVP. But he's going to have a 40-40 season probably, while playing the best defense in center field and also being a guy who racks up a bunch of runs on the base paths.
Yeah, that's what he's going to need to do. He's going to need to hit 40-40, and he's going to need to, I would say, get at least a size. I don't want to say sizable, but he's going to have to get a little bit of a gap between Ohtani and himself in hitting. Right now, him and Ohtani's OPS plus is exactly the same.
Like I don't think PCA can hit 50-50. It'd be kind of insane for him to hit 17 homers and 18 stolen bases over the next 30-ish game,
35 games left to play.
That would be insane. But let's say he
31 games left or something like that. 35 days left. They probably have like 30 games, around 30.
He's played 131 games, so 31, yeah. I think he's played every game. But if he hits like 45 homers, 45 stolen bases.
If he hits 45, we'll see. He's got a month left to hit 7 home runs to get 40-40. We know, that's not, he could have a bad month. What if he has a May or a June? You know what I'm saying? PCA has been a streaky player. I have a feeling that this argument might solve itself over the next month. We'll have to see what PCA does, but you know where I stand on this, and it's Ohtani MVP. Let's get Jack's opinion on this real quick before we move on.
Yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
You don't know.
PCA or Shohei?
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani. He's having trouble logging into online banking, and he's done it without his original interpreter all year. And that goes under the radar. Without Ippei Mizuhara, this guy is going for back-to-back MVPs. Was that last year or 2 years ago? That was last year, right? That was last year. So,
no.
2 seasons?
It was his first season with the Dodgers.
It was in Japan, I thought. It was in Korea.
It was his first season with the Dodgers.
So
Ippei was with the Dodgers organization for 2 games.
Yeah.
1 game?
Yeah, it was a good run. So, but there's more.
Ohtani's 4th straight MVP.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, you know where I stand on that whole Judge debate. I think it should have been an MVP for him that year too. But what are you gonna do? We'll see. I have a feeling Ohtani's gonna win. I think my prediction is PCA is gonna peter off a little bit. He's had a great run, but Ohtani stays steady and wins it. But there's other things going on in MLB. It's not just an MVP race. It is also a playoff race. And right now, there are 35 days left in the MLB season. There are currently 21 teams with a chance to make the playoffs, which is absolutely bat crap crazy. If the season ends today, there would be a team with a losing record in the playoffs. That would be the first time in MLB history a team during a 162-game season, during a full season, this would be the first time in MLB history that a team would make the playoffs with a losing record in a full season. Right now, there are 21 teams fighting over 12 spots, and that's a lot of teams, all right? So it's a complete clusterfuck, and these teams really need to start winning now or their seasons are over. And this week, we've seen a lot of teams do good, a lot of teams do bad. One of these teams had a player completely disappear this week, and then he was found in a casino. And that's not a good look if you're fighting for a playoff spot. But the Diamondbacks, they lost their star player. Thankfully, they found him. Another team started doing a nipple-touching celebration, turning their season around. Let's play this. There was a nipple-touching celebration. You can add that to the hump celebration in terms of X-rated content in MLB this year. Unbelievable. JT Real Muto.
That's what a winner looks like.
Yeah. Another team forgot how many outs there were and gave up 22 runs in one game. That was Julio Rodriguez throwing a ball into the stands like an idiot. The Mariners continued to they have some good things happen, though, this week. Also, some embarrassing things happen.
This was the worst mediocre week of all time.
Yeah, it was a very hot and cold week. Some very big highs and a lot of low lows. One of the teams is smoking cigars in the dugout. Another team is playing golf from the second deck in their own stadium. One team began grabbing their nuts after walks, only to then lose and have another team grab their nuts in return. That would be the Orioles are getting their nuts grabbed in their face. 21 teams currently fighting over 12 spots. That means that 9 teams have officially been eliminated from playoff contention, according to us. One of those teams is the New York Mets. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to make it. They had a raccoon in the stadium this week. This was one of the craziest fucking things I've ever seen. I guess this is a raccoon. To me, it looks like it could be a chupacabra.
Man, Buddy just won the jackpot. Just reached his hand up, got a hot dog.
You imagine that? The feeling of just like being a raccoon, putting your hand through a hole and just getting a whole ass wiener
Shout out whoever gave him the hot dog.
in return. I mean, I don't think, how you think this raccoon's ever had a full glizzy?
No way.
Not a fresh glizzy.
A full ballpark glizzy?
Full ball. I mean, it's a pretty big glizzy too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he did just find it. I thought somebody handed it to him. I didn't see that he had already started grabbing it.
That is a $15 glizzy for a raccoon, man. Eating good in the neighborhood. If you're a raccoon, get over to Citi Field. They are giving the dogs away.
But then he gets greedy. He starts looking for more. He's looking for relish.
Yeah, no bun? What the fuck? They also have Jeffrey Yan, who continues to make headlines. They bring him in the bottom of the ninth in a tie game. He gets Colson Montgomery down to his last strike. Celebrate strike 3. You're out. Except it wasn't strike 3. So the second week in a row, he accidentally celebrates a ball, then gets booed. Jeffrey Yan. Moments later, White Sox are down to their last out, and Jeffrey Yan gives up a walk-off home run. And then a woman catches it. This lady catches a home run ball, and her whole fucking purse gets emptied out. Hope it was worth it. I think it was. The White Sox have a couple big walk-offs this week. The White Sox continue to be hot. That's a team in the AL who hasn't embarrassed themselves. Probably one of the only teams in the AL who hasn't been disappointing this year, other than I'd say the Yankees. I would say every team in the AL has been a disappointment, except for the White Sox, Rays, Yankees, and Red Sox. Other than that, every team has been a disappointment.
They're the only 4 American League teams over 500.
Every other team has had an embarrassing season in some way. Even the Red Sox, you could say, has had an embarrassing season for at least half the year. But that is just the world we're living in, 2026, the American League. It's tough. But so the Mets are out. Also, we have to eliminate the Reds, who also had a crazy loss. So the Reds had a 4-game series against the Cardinals. Went into the 5-game series against the Cardinals because they had a doubleheader in there. Went into the 9th up by 1 run. They were 1 out away from winning this game. They get a routine fly ball to center field. This is to win the game. And Dane Myers can't come up with it. Sunglasses on the cat. We don't know what happened. He drops the ball. The Reds lose, and they are 19 games back of first place and 8 games back of a playoff spot. We're going to have to eliminate the Reds. We're also going to have to eliminate the Nationals this week. I eliminated them. We're also going to have to, I think that was the only team that probably got eliminated for sure this week in my mind. But then you also got the Pittsburgh Pirates eliminated. You're out of the playoff running. I don't think you're going to make it. The Giants, you're out. The Rockies, you're out. The Mets, I told you, you're already out. And then you got the Athletics, Angels, and Royals are out. Although the Royals are one of the hottest teams in baseball. So the Royals are in of not being the worst team in baseball, but out in terms of playoff spot. Every other team's got a chance. But Dade Myers drops this. And then Tommy Pham back in the news, Jack. I don't know if you saw. I doubt it. But he went on a tear on Twitter today, absolutely called out Dane Myers. I guess his point is, I guess we could read through the tweets right here, but it got pretty ugly on Twitter. You don't really see a active MLB player getting an active beef with former MLB players. Is Tommy Pham in the minors right now?
I'm pretty sure he's in the minors, or he got released recently, but he was in the minors at some point this year.
Tommy Pham, famous for going on Twitter and talking about defensive metrics being a little whackadaisical. Is that a word? Just invented it. Whackadaisical. That was a whackadaisical play in center field. He says, what's going on here is we have center fielders today who know the value of stealing catches to help their outs above average numbers, saying that Dane Myers tried to catch a ball for in front of the left fielder because he was going to help his analytics and it cost him a game. Dane Myers says, I'm not going to stand for that. Says, quote, a 10-year vet, decent one at that, a brother calling me selfish? You talking like an average fan, man. You spend all that time in the big leagues. You should know and remember there's more to a play than that than appears on the screen. That being said, play has to be made. And then, Tommy Pham, he ain't going to play that bullshit. He says, what mutual you're referring to? I talked to your mutuals, said you're a child. So Tommy Pham has a source in the Reds locker room, according to him, that Dane Myers is a child. Dane Myers did not like that because he says, oh, yeah, if you got that screenshot and post it, bitch. And then he says that Tommy Pham went to a party one time and was trying to get play or something. What is the word he used? Dude, we got to find that tweet.
A lame would be someone telling a whole house party they should be on him because he was top in WAR previous season. This couldn't be you, right?
So when he says on me, what does he mean by that? He's trying to like get chicks by saying I had the best WAR?
I think because he said everyone, he probably just means like on my dick, y'all should be giving me praise.
Yeah, imagine going to a house party and being like, bro, I have better fucking defense. I have better numbers than all you guys. Show me some love. I mean,
this had to have been like 2017. 6.3 WAR for Tommy Pham. He must have really enjoyed that season.
Listen, he deserved it, bro. If he's the best player in the house party, you should be getting the most attention. But Tommy Pham, he doesn't go out to the fight. He brings up the stats, man. Dane Myers. He says, I hit better than you with bad vision at 38. You're 30 and you have accumulated 1.2 F4 and 87 WRC plus going into ARB. That's non-tender territory. -7 defensive runs saved. In your center field, your teammates and trainers say you're a crybaby child and don't respect you. So that was very disrespectful, and it is pretty funny to get a beef that just goes into the metrics like that. But yeah, to totally just like mog someone based on Fangraphs data, that's pretty sick.
I do love that Pham is like a stat guy.
Yeah,
he's going to parties, bringing up his stats.
123 WRC plus.
You think that's
7 outs above average?
You think that's why he got stabbed in the parking lot that one time? He's like, you know who you're talking to, brother?
I had a 102 OPS plus last year.
I was fifth.
You know what the odds of this happening are?
I'm fifth in defensive run saves. You can't stab me. Oh shit.
What do you think though? He's playing banana ball next year?
Tommy Pham, hell no, bro. You don't play that bullshit.
Put Muay Thai pads on him. Just let him be third base. Nobody gets by.
I would not be surprised if Tommy Pham makes a transition into some sort of celebrity boxing, celebrity MMA, something like that. I think the guy's a competitor. I think he's an athlete. I think he has the drive to succeed in any field he puts his mind to. I don't think he's not a banana ball player. That is the opposite of banana ball.
I could see like him boxing Johnny Manziel on like a Jake Paul undercard.
I think with him and banana ball, he's too competitive. If one of his teammates does a trick and misses the out, Tommy Pham's flying in from the outfield, getting in his face.
Yeah, we're gonna.
But that's part of it, isn't it? That's his draw.
The first banana ball brawl: Tommy Pham versus freaking the hot TikTok guy. Which one? They're all hot TikTok guys. Either way, we've eliminated the Reds. Unfortunately, it was fun while it lasted, and we got some projections. So this is a good way to break down the rest of the season right now. We got about a month left to play, and according to Fangraphs, the final wildcard spot in the NL was projected to get 86 wins. So if your team in the NL, you're shooting for that 86 wins. And if you're not getting 86 wins, you're probably out. They project that the final wildcard spot in the AL is projected to get 81 wins. So only 4 teams in the American League right now are over 500. 3 of them are in the AL East. 3 teams under 500 currently within striking distance in the AL East, meaning a lot of these teams in the race really have no choice to start winning. And one of those teams is the Mariners, who we've told you have struggled all year. And this is a stat that blew my mind earlier this week as of Monday. Aaron Judge, who hasn't played since what, June, May?
The end of May.
The end of May has more hits as of Monday than Cal Raleigh.
Cal Raleigh did pass him,
Yes.
but he only had 3 hits this week.
Cal Raleigh has surpassed Aaron Judge. And if the season ends today, you'd have to give Raleigh the MVP. I mean, he's had a better season than Aaron Judge. That's actually not true.
That's actually very not true.
Aaron Judge has had a better season than him based on the value. But you know what? We can't all have great seasons. You're going to have a down season from time to time. And the Mariners are having one of those seasons. Second lowest batting average with a minimum of 300 plate appearances since 1901 as of Friday for Cal Raleigh. So it has been a tough role for him and a tough role for the Mariners. The Mariners enter the week 59-62, 2.5 games back of a playoff spot. So they have to win 22 of their last 37 games to be in a playoff spot. That would be a 600 winning percentage to make the playoffs. So they're going to have to turn some shit around. They go into this game against the Mariners. Sorry, they are the Mariners. They go into this game against the Brewers, losing 8 of their last 12, have fallen 7 games below 500. They're getting beat so bad for the Brewers. They put in Leo Rivas, who is an infielder. And this guy's just lobbing pitches. You know, sometimes the position players go in, they try to do some fancy shit. They got like a fastball. This guy is just throwing slow pitches. He's doing slow pitch softball. Lobs a 39-mile-per-hour pitch to William Contreras. He hits a double. A 41-mile-per-hour pitch to Christian Yelich. He hits a single. Lobs a 37-mile-per-hour pitch to Luis Lara. This gets called a strike, and this is probably the worst call you'll see maybe in baseball history. Look at this shit. D-Rye. At his neck.
Can you play it again?
Play it one more time for Jack. And it's funny.
But you got to do it.
They have a rule where you cannot challenge a pitch if it's a position player because a pitch is like that.
I think I understand what happened though, because when you see, you know, where they show the bar, where they show where the ball crossed the strike zone, or the plane of it at least, like it lands right dead center glove. Like it would be a strike if the arc was different and it was like a foot closer to him. Does that make sense?
Yes, it is a optical illusion.
He catches it on the line, but it's behind the plate, so.
And that's the secret of a great ephus ball pitcher before the pitch com was one of the most untapped markets in baseball. It seems as if you're getting pitches that are literally 2 feet out of the zone, called a strike based on the eye. Nevertheless, that is a call to strike. The very next pitch, Luis Lara drives a fucking bombs. This is his first career home run. His first MLB home run comes off an infielder on a pitch that went 36.9 miles per hour. Okay. Then Rivas gives another hit to Garrett Mitchell, gives up a 5th straight hit to Joey Ortiz, gives up another single, then another single to Andrew Vaughn, another hit to Jonathan Omelas. They have 21 hits in this game, the Brewers. Then he walks in a run. The game is now 19-0. Christian Yelich flies a ball to center, and Julio Rodriguez catches this ball, and he says, "Thank God. The inning's over. We got out of it." Throws it in the outfield. Guess what, bitch? That was 2 outs. So 2 runs score. He chucks that ball in the outfield. They go down 21-0 for the Mariners, who just have a god-awful game and a god-awful season. He ends up throwing 22 pitches under 40 miles per hour. First time in MLB history. He gives up 9 runs, and the Mariners lose 22-0. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Brewers, and now they have to face the Cubs. So the Mariners just look completely cooked. The Cubs, on the other hand, have been playing great all year. They got Mitchell's MVP over there. They start this week off against the White Sox. On the very first pitch of the game, Pete Crow Armstrong hits a bomb. Okay? First pitch of the game. Cubs go on to tie this game in the 9th, send it into extras. PCA comes up again. He's the first batter in the 10th inning, and a 2-1 count hits another bomb. So that was what we said earlier. Pico Armstrong hits a home run on the first pitch of the game and on the very last pitch of the game. So that is the second time in Major League history a player has hit a home run on the very first pitch and the very last pitch of an MLB game. Last time that happened was Vic Power in 1957, right? So keep that in mind. Cubs win 2 out of 3, beat the White Sox. Then they have to play the Mariners. 4 days later, They're playing the Mariners. Randy Arozarena comes to the plate, hits a home run on the very first pitch of the game. Mariners go up 1-0. Third inning, Miguel Amaya hits a bomb, ties the game. Sorry, this is going to tie the game. So Miguel Amaya hits a bomb. This is going to tie the game. And Randy Arozarena, what does he do? Robs the bitch. So Randy Arozarena hits a leadoff home run, then robs a home run to keep the game tied at 1. They go into the 9th down by 1 run. Randy Arozarena is facing Jacob Webb with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. The Mariners are down to their last out, and he hits a home run on the very last pitch of the game. Randy Arozarena goes apeshit around the bases, hits a walk-off home run to end the game. He hits a home run on the very first pitch of the game and the very last pitch of the game. So for the second time this week, only the third time in MLB history, a player has hit a home run on the first pitch and the last pitch of an MLB game, according to Sarah Langs. No one's done it since 1957, and PCA and Randy Arozarena do it in the same week, bro.
Guess what Randy does the next day?
I don't know, man.
Another leadoff homer. So PCA and Randy Arozarena become the first 2 players in MLB history to have 2 leadoff homers and a walk-off homer in a 2-game span. No one had ever done it before this week, and then it happens twice.
What a beautiful sport. What a beautiful sport. That's actually mind-blowing that fucking happened. So the Mariners, like I said, have a terrible fucking start to the week. They get blown out 19-0, but then they win on back-to-back walk-offs because the next day, Leo Rivas, the pitcher who gave up 9 runs, ends up being a hitter. Bottom of the 9th, Cubs are 1 out away from getting out of a jam. He hits a walk-off single. So the Mariners have 2 walk-offs and save what would have been they would have been probably out of the race pretty much if they wouldn't have hit those 2 walk-offs, but they do it. And then it's funny, game 3 of this series on Sunday, they lose again, 19-2. So second time in a week, they lost by 17 runs or more. Both were games started by Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller becomes the first pitcher in 136 years to lose consecutive starts by at least 17 runs, according to ESPN.
They had a position player pitch against them in both of those games because the other team was winning by so much.
Yeah, just an absolutely batshit crazy week for the Mariners. Absolutely batshit crazy week for the Cubs too, to be in 2 games with 2 leadoff first pitch. History's being made. So they go 3-3 on the week while getting outscored 62-24. And that is a stat courtesy of the Gauge page. The Gauge page. They go 3-3 while getting outscored by 28 runs. Absolutely unbelievable. So the AL West continues to be the worst division in baseball, as they've been all year. The 2 worst records in baseball are in the AL West. All 5 teams in this division have a negative run differential. The division has been outscored. The entire division has been outscored by 391 runs combined. The Astros and the Rangers are tied for first right now, and both have losing records, meaning that all 5 teams in the AL West have a losing record right now. And according to projections, the Astros and Rangers just have to go 500 to make the playoffs. Both these teams. Just go 500 and you're in, meaning that a team will get in if they go 500 while being under 500. It'd be the first time in a full MLB season that has ever happened. If you had to say right now, which team do you think that's going to be?
Man, that's... I don't even want to pick a team. They're so bad.
The Mariners right now are down 3 games in this division. I still want to say the Mariners. I just think they're definitely the best team on paper. I would say the team that's been doing the best recently is the Rangers. The Rangers actually had a pretty good week. Though they faced the Nationals, win 2 out of 3, then win a series against the Angels as well. 2 shutouts against the Nationals, who were the best offense in baseball, mind you. Jacob deGrom goes 6 innings, allows just 1 hit, strikes out 10, which is massive. Because last week we were saying, deGrom might be out for the time being. He got injured, came out of a start early, but comes back, strikes out 10, became the second quickest pitcher to 2,000 strikeouts based on innings pitched. Pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good. And then Cal Quantrill. Were you sleeping on Cal Quantrill, Mitch?
Yeah.
I think we slept on Cal Quantrill. He goes 7 innings, 0 earned runs against the Nationals, has a 3.13 ERA on the season, and since moving into the starting rotation, because he started as a bullpen pitcher, he has 12 starts and a 2.48 ERA. In the second half, Cal Quantrill has the lowest ERA of any starting pitcher in baseball. If the second half ended today, he'd be the Cy Young winner of the second half, according to some. Debatable.
No, his ERA is not the lowest since the All-Star break.
But
since the start after the All-Star break.
Okay, well, that counts.
He has a 1.35 ERA. But in the first start after the All-Star break, he did allow 6 runs.
Either way, Cal Quantrill's elite. They win on a walk-off error against the Angels, which is a very funny way for the Angels to lose, and pretty normal for the Angels to lose. And Mackenzie Gore goes 6 innings, shutout innings on Friday with 7 Ks against the Angels. So in August, he has a 1.57 ERA. So the Rangers pitching staff has been hitting on all cylinders. This week, they had a 1.96 ERA. Their starting staff had a 1.02 ERA, and it got them into a first-place tie with the Astros. Mind you, they do not have that tiebreaker, so if the season ends today, the Astros would be AL West champions. The Rangers have to win 16 of their final 31 games in order to sneak into that last spot, according to the projections. But 3 of their next 4 series are against first-place teams. That would be the White Sox, Brewers, and Rays. So it's not going to be easy for the Rangers, who are playing the best of the AL West, but are having to face 3 first-place teams and 3 pretty good first-place teams too, Brewers, Rays, and White Sox.
It feels kind of wrong that the Rangers and the Astros season series is already over.
Yeah, right? You would want some final week heroics, some final week fireworks, but it is what it is. The Astros, on the other hand, have a goddamn terrible week. So the Astros entered the week actually pretty hot, bro. They were 1 game over 500, had a 2-game lead in the division. They only had to go 18-19 to make the playoffs based on projections, and their next 2 series were against the 2 worst teams in baseball. That would be the Angels and the Athletics. And what do they do against those 2 teams? They fucking lose both series. They lose 2 series to the 2 worst teams in baseball. And yesterday, on Sunday, had a 6-0 lead against the Athletics, who have the worst pitching staff in baseball, and allowed 6 runs in the 5th inning and blew the frickin' game. Back-to-back 1-run losses to the Athletics at home. Blew both the games, blew 2 leads. That is frickin' terrible.
It is funny that the Rangers last week lost series to the Angels and the A's. And then this week, the Astros come in, have the same slate, lose a series to the Angels and the A's.
Yeah, so back-to-back weeks, the first-place team in the NL West lose 2 series to the worst 2 teams in baseball. And they are neck and neck tied for first. Anything can happen. So the Astros have played just 33 games against teams over 500. That's from Baseball World on Twitter. The Brewers have played 64. So the Astros, even though they're under 500, they've had the easiest schedule in baseball, according to this at least. It makes me think. 33 games out of what? How many games have they played? 130? So literally 1/3, only 2/3 of their games this year have been against teams under 500, and they still themselves are under 500, yet they're in a first-place spot. And that just goes to show you what is happening to this world. Makes no sense. But yeah, moving forward, like I said, this helps my argument. The Mariners, in my mind, still probably have the best odds to win it, despite being 3 games back with a month left to play. The Astros have 19 games remaining against teams over 500. The Rangers have 16 games remaining over teams over 500. But the Mariners just have 7 more games against teams over 500. So the Mariners...
I just looked at the Mariners' schedule for September, and it looks pretty easy. They play 2 games against the Red Sox. Those are going to be tough. 4 games against the A's, 3 games against the Rangers, 3 games against the A's, 3 games against the Angels, 3 games against the Rockies. And then they wrap up the season with the Astros and the Angels.
Hey, it's yours for the taking, Mariners. If you want to, it's a great time to get hot if you're the Mariners. Going in the playoffs, you got a great roster. What if Cal Raleigh gets hot?
He hit a homer this week.
Come on.
It's coming.
Come on, man. That's his 2nd week in a row.
He's back.
He's back. 1 singular homer, 3 hits.
2nd week in a row, Cal Raleigh has hit a home run, and I believe he had a 2-hit game for like the first time.
No.
No, okay, never mind.
He's had 1 2-hit game since he's come off the IL, and that was back in July.
Well, you know what? To his defense, we were looking at other players like Fernando Tatis as being absolutely dog shit, and look at him right now.
Hey, spoiler. We're not there yet.
He's the hottest hitter in baseball right now.
But yeah, I mean, this division really will come down to which of the division teams can actually beat the A's and the Angels. So far, Rangers failed, except they did beat the Angels this past weekend. The Astros, they failed. So if the Mariners can actually win a series against the Angels and the A's, they win the division.
We're looking forward to it. Now, we won't spend much time on the other teams in this division. The A's, we're not even going to talk about the Angels. We got one stat on the Angels that I saw on Twitter from Jay Kuda. AJ Pierzynski has played in a playoff game more recently than Mike Trout.
Yeah, I saw that. I went immediately to try to fact check that, and it's true.
That hurts. That hurts. And unfortunately, the Angels, we're going to have to eliminate you.
They fired their pitching coach 2 weeks ago, and they have had the best team ERA since then. And they've gone 7-5, despite having an ERA under 2.
Hey, things are looking up. We also have to tell you that the Astros fired their GM.
Yeah, this morning, mutually parted ways with their GM.
Apologize. He was not fired. It was a mutual agreement.
If you remember back after the Astros won the World Series in 2022, they let their GM walk. Right after they won the World Series, they hired Dana Brown from the Braves. And now, with them technically in first place, he's out as GM. So, Astros GM position, it's a tough spot.
Tough spot. If you're not hitting the trash cans, then we don't want you. You're going to have to cheat.
Well, they fired that guy too.
It's the toughest job in sports is being the Astros GM. So we're going to have to see how that goes, guys. Can we do a quick ad read?
Sure can.
All right. Well, this podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek, baby. And you know how much we love SeatGeek. I use SeatGeek every time I go to a game. And I will be using SeatGeek next time I go to a game. Because it's the best ticketing app in the freaking world. It is the most popular ticketing app in the world. #1 rated ticketing app in the world. Over 35 million downloads. All right. And it's not just sports, guys. It's all live events. Over 70,000 live events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. It's a great time to see an MLB game. You only got 1 month left, guys. Don't let the summer pass you without seeing some MLB games. Get in there, get a hot dog, get some Dippin' Dots, and watch some freaking baseball. NFL season's heating up, boys. It's about to start. Get a preseason game in. Get a regular season game in. Get them on SeatGeek. It's the best place to get them. And we're giving you 10% off. Anybody. Doesn't even have to be your first time. You can get 10% off your tickets. Just use code PDE10 for 10% off your tickets at SeatGeek. Set of tickets. So not just one ticket. You get a set of tickets. 10% off. So that's pretty freaking good. And it is the official ticketing app of MLB. So your tickets are fully guaranteed, instantly fulfilled on your account after purchase. It is the best time to freaking use it. Do it right freaking now.
I'm looking at tickets right now. Wednesday, the Braves play here, 1 p.m. Gonna skip work, trying to find which seat I want. There's a great deal right behind home plate. Might have to use the code PDA10.
Bro, the Braves.
That's where you'll find them.
The Braves are playing
September 2nd.
This
Next
week?
week.
Next week. I love the Braves. Definitely gonna have to use SeatGeek for that too. Damn. So yeah. So please, guys, do it right now. Use my code for 10% off your next SeatGeek order at SeatGeek.com/SeatGeek. Sorry, I gotta fucking read the actual right words.
The code's PDE10, I believe.
PDE10. You can use code PDE10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That is 10% off any tickets with promo code PDE10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. So do it right now. Download the app, use PDE10 for 10% off, and thank you once again for SeatGeek for sponsoring the podcast all season long. We love you more than words can describe. Do you mind if I take a quick piss?
I would not mind.
Good.
Mitch, should we do some Discord questions while Joey steps away?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Now, I didn't really have time to go through these yet. Actually, can I ask you a question real quick before we get to these weirdos?
I'm scared.
Who do you think is like the most is having the most like disappointing season because there was so much hype. Like I'm thinking of Cal
easily
Raleigh.
Cal Raleigh.
It's got to be Cal.
Cal
right?
Raleigh has had the biggest drop in statistics ever. Like his OPS from last season to this year has been, I believe, the biggest drop in MLB history from a guy with an OPS over a certain benchmark. And he finished second in MVP voting. So you come into the season, you think this guy's going to have a great season. Sure, he had an injury, but since then, he's been really bad. I really can't even think of another player. The Braves have disappointed me personally.
As a team, sure.
As a team. And that level of disappointment that I felt, and I mean, I can't complain too much. The Braves are a first place team. But, like, I can't imagine being a Mariners fan and having that kind of drop off from the guy that they thought was going to be an MVP candidate.
It's not even just ability. He was beloved. He was like the golden child in a way.
And it's not even
I mean?
like I can't really speak for Mariners fans, but it's not like he's hated anymore. I think he's pitied.
Yeah, people feel bad because but that's because he's such a sweetheart. Like that's what's like unique about that. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna read a couple questions here. Out of Sync Samurai says, any thoughts on the AL East being the only good division in the AL? As of Sunday, 8/16 night, they had 4 playoff spots. 5th team was like 1 game back. It also has 3 of the AL's 5 teams over 500. Do you think the bottom AL East teams are better than their record suggests since they play good teams substantially more than AL
the
teams?
American League is not legitimate. Like, the AL East is good. The White Sox, they're legitimately good. The AL West is a dumpster fire. Like, if it was actually true that the best AL teams are the reason why the other AL teams are bad, the AL West should all be like hovering around 500, and they have 2 of the worst teams in the league.
I'm glad you followed that question because I didn't understand it at all. But
Jack, who are your current top 3 favorite players?
it's tough. You asked me at a Braves game early in the season, and it was Cal Raleigh, J Miz, and Shohei because it's just hard to. But you know who I really still love is Roki Sasaki,
He's hot.
J Miz, and then who's that new that new rookie who hit 3 homers in that game? Joshua Baez.
Yeah.
Bro, he's up there right now. That's so sick. I know that's like the hack answer, but I'm a casual, so like
I don't
have
think he's hit
casual
a home run. I don't think he's got a hit since.
He has 1 homer since,
Oh, a home run.
and I think he has a single.
Well, the real question is, who's your least favorite player, Jack?
I don't know if I can even quantify that.
Whoa.
Like I don't know if I even know who my least favorite player is.
You're gonna have to
Like,
do your homework. Come back next week with the least favorite player. We need an enemy.
all right, I'll do it.
The plot thickens. Yes. So we'll get back to some questions later. But if you guys want to ask any questions, please go to the Discord. Add the Discord link in the description. And you can get on there and get some good conversations and get some questions for the podcast. We'd love to answer your questions. The next question is, what do you got on the Blue Jays? And let me tell you something. It's a mixed bag for the Blue Jays. I got to tell you this much, right? So the Blue Jays come into the week with 61 wins, 1 game back of a playoff spot. They have to win at least 20 of their next 36 games to be a playoff team. They had 16.4% playoff odds to go into the week, and they're facing 2 division rivals this week. So the Blue Jays season really was make or break this week. If they have a bad week, they're pretty much cooked. If they have a great week, they are back in freaking business. This is the biggest week of their entire season, and they open it with a big win at Tampa Bay, Jack's Rays. They scored 10 runs on 17 hits, and then game 2, they bring in the big game Max Scherzer on the mound. He's grunting out there. He wants a big win. You know he wants a chance at the World Series again. Second batter of the game, Max Scherzer gets Junior Caminero to fly out. Jesus Sanchez can't find the freaking ball. This is the second batter of the game. Looks up into the sky. Oh, where is it? Dude, drops
He almost
it.
ozuned it.
Yeah, for real. That was dangerous. It turns into a ground rule double, and he looks confused.
He's looking at us like we're all gonna be like, we couldn't see it either, man. Like,
Where'd the freaking ball go? So he screws that one up. Blue Jays end up scoring 1. I'm sorry. But if he catches that ball, inning would have been over. 2 batters later with 2 outs, Yandy Diaz, boom shakalaka, hits a home run. So they go up 2-0. Blue Jays end up scoring 1, getting in within 1 run. Then in the 4th, Max Scherzer gets into some trouble, ends up walking the bases loaded. However, gets a lazy fly ball to left field. Jesus Sanchez again.
And that's a popper. Short
Right to him.
Where is he going?
Cannot find the ball.
Had that one bounce and then
Totally lost it in the background. Something. The ball blended in with some gray something. He just didn't fucking find it. And Max Scherzer is livid out there. I mean, this is the biggest series, biggest game of the season for him thus far. And their left fielder just...
I've watched this video every day since this happened, and I cannot figure out where he's going.
I've got another theory as the body language expert is I think that he is looking ahead to whoever that other player is in front of him. They both change direction because they both are trying to avoid running into each other.
It's his ball,
It's
though.
so clearly his ball.
Yeah.
There's a runner on third. There's one out. It's a shallow fly ball. This is like a little league outfielder knows what to do here.
Yeah, I don't know why I can see you kind of losing the ball in a shirt or something, or it blends into that. I know the Trop has like weird, it's like a gray roof. So people lose ball in the Trop, but like where his head was facing, it was like he was looking at the ground when the ball was in the air and looking at the second base.
He was
bag.
expecting the shortstop to catch it, which is insane. This is like, if the shortstop catches this, the runner on third, Yandy Diaz, slow guy. He's scoring if the shortstop catches it. If Sanchez catches this, he's not tagging up. And yet, I cannot. I've watched this probably like 40 times. I can't figure out where
Mitch
he's
is
going.
worked up right now. I don't see Mitch this worked up normally.
Listen.
Dude, look, he's like, where is he going? I can't figure this out.
Well, this has been a problem for the Blue Jays all year with Jesus Sanchez not being a great defender. This leads to 4 runs this inning. His defense alone cost them 5 runs in the first 4 innings of the game, and they end up losing by just 1 run. So he cost them that game, and they end up going 3-3 on the week, finish 2.5 games back of a wild card spot. So their odds actually get worse this week. As of right now, they are... How many games back?
Of a playoff spot, 1.5.
1.5 games back of a playoff spot. However, they only have 1 game left against a team above 500 on their schedule. So, just like the Mariners, Jesus Sanchez, the second coming. Good news is for the Blue Jays, what I'm saying is they have an easy schedule for the rest of the season. However, why am I getting... Okay, these are old stats, whatever. Anyway, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. still has yet to hit a home run at home with a month left in the season, which is absolutely fucking crazy.
He did come back this weekend, though. He was out for a week with a concussion. Came back. He had 2 hits on Saturday and then went 0 for 4 on Sunday. Still not in homers.
Who else on the Blue Jays has got you excited for the last month of the season?
Not Jesus Sanchez, clearly.
So 30 games left for the Blue Jays. They have 64 wins, meaning they're going to have to win, according to the projections, 17 of their last 30 games, which means they're going to have to go 17-13, which would probably be their best stretch of the season or close to it. What they got going for them, there's only 1 game remaining they have with a team over 500. They are still above the Orioles, who had a similar week. So the Orioles on August 9th had 8.5% playoff odds. On August 13th, they were in last place. 3 days later, they swept the best team in baseball. Johan Pozo took a walk and celebrated by grabbing his nuts. That changed everything. And somehow after that, they were in the final playoff spot. So 3 days after being in last place and fucking 7 days after having 8.5% playoff odds, they were in a playoff spot. They'd have to go 20-18 to get to 81 wins. On Monday, however, they lose a game to the Rays. So they lose. They didn't actually sweep the Rays. It was a 4-game series. On Monday, they played again. They lost to the Rays. Brian Baker returns the favor, grabs his nuts in the Orioles' face. On Tuesday, they lose a heartbreaker to the Yankees. First game of the series, lose by 1 run. On Wednesday, they go into the 7th tied against the Yankees. Biggest game of the year, biggest series of the year. Pete Alonso comes to the plate on an 0-1 count. Boom, ties the game with a bomb moonshot over the foul pole. Foul pole. Great. They call it foul. So this was the most controversial call of the week. They call this foul. If you look at some angles, it looks obviously fair. If you look at one angle, it looks like it might be foul. It goes over the pole. That looks like fair as fuck. Look where this ball lands. If this goes that long. It definitely goes that long. Look at where this ball lands. You're telling me that a ball lands there. Look where that landed. How could that be foul? The ball tracking data says it was a home run. But they review this shit and they don't reverse it. This 2-run home run turns into 0 runs and they lose by 2 runs. So that costs them the game, and the Orioles get swept by the Yankees, lose 4 games in a row. Their playoff odds go from 23% to 9% in 4 days. Luckily, they get to play the Rays again, and they have actually dominated the Rays the past week. Take 2 out of 3 against the Rays and hit a walk-off home run from Dylan Beavers on Saturday. So the Orioles, to get out of this slump, they decide they're all going to wear stirrups on Saturday. Tyler O'Neill says this is what we're going to do. Samuel Basallo didn't have him on at first, but he gets pinch hit for, changed into his stirrups to come off the bench and hits a game-tying 2-run bomb with the stirrups. They end up walking it off. That helps, because if they didn't do that, we'd be talking about a disastrous week for them. Still wasn't a great week. Pete Alonso is carrying the squad. Last 15 games, he's slashed 448. That's a 448 average with 7 home runs. Hit 3 home runs this week, and it was smoking big stogies.
And if you ask O's fans, should have been 4 homers.
Yeah, that's right. Should have been 4. Got 1 reversed. I mean, do you think that shit was foul? Look
The
where
thing
that
that
shit
bothers
lands.
me about the ball tracking data is you go to MLB, you see the ball path, and it's like, oh, that's clearly fair. And then MLB says, well, that's an internal estimate. And it's like, well, don't you use that for ball tracking data?
I mean, you don't want everything's an internal estimate. But I mean,
This looks clearly fair, and I just wonder, like, at what point does the Hawkeye cameras stop tracking the ball, and then it just becomes an estimate?
I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, if it was 100%, if they really had faith in it, they would just use like they do in tennis. They would use ball tracking for every fair foul ball.
There were a few calls from this week for the Braves on fair or foul, and I'm like, why can't you just use Hawkeye on this? Like, you should be able to use Hawkeye, at least in the fair or foul territory in play. And even with the home runs, I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. If they have Hawkeye in the stadium, that's the same technology they use in tennis. And that shit's, I mean, the amount of foul fair in tennis is probably way more frequent. But it is what it is. You know, you got to keep the human element, Mitchell. Do you want everything to be robots? You're an AI guy?
No.
He's an AI guy.
I don't like sitting on
not.
the fence, though, between them. Like, if you get arrested for a murder, you can then be released later on if new evidence is found. And they can't fucking reverse this call. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you want them to retroactively change games? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, when they did the review immediately,
They
right?
did review it.
They
and
reviewed it.
They said they don't
The
have good
initial
enough
call was
evidence.
foul.
But
And
how
MLB has
how
this-
do we have the evidence just watching it? Like, I don't understand.
They
MLB has this
fumbled the-
rule that, like, they need 2 camera angles to confirm a call. And they only had 1 camera angle that made it look fair.
That's
and the
a
other
rule?
one looked questionable.
Is that a rule? That's not a rule.
There was something about that
They
being a rule.
need. Well, they apparently. I did read that, but that's not a rule. I mean, if they have one camera angle that is like makes it obvious.
At least that's what Pete Alonso said.
yeah.
I
He's.
was
but didn't they
told
say-
in order to overturn a call, you need to have 2 camera angles to confirm it. Alonso said.
If that's true, that is the dumbest shit of all time. Pete Alonso, no offense, not the most reliable. Remember, he also had that stupid theory they juiced the balls for the lockout or something.
His theory was that MLB looks at the impending free agents and they say, is this a pitcher heavy class or a hitter heavy class? And then they go to Rawlings and say, hey, the free agent class is leaning towards pitchers. Make it easier to hit home runs this year. And then if it's the other way around, they're like dead in the balls. That one, I don't.
You never freaking know with these billionaires, bro. I mean, they're up to no good. Either way, the Orioles, much like the Blue Jays, much like the Mariners, have a some good and bad this week, and they end up going 3-3. Those 2 walk-offs save them. So despite being in last place, they are just 2 games back of a wild card spot. But if they don't start winning now, they're going to be pretty much screwed. They're not in last place. They're actually in second to last place. The Blue Jays have surpassed them as the worst team. Wait, this is okay. Sorry. They are in last place. This is the standings going into this week. They're in last place, but 2 games back of a wild card spot. On first place, you got the Yankees, who swept the Orioles. Good job for the Yankees. Max Fried, however, went on the IL with a bone bruise. Never like to see a guy get hurt, but that's what you get for leaving the Braves. Just kidding, Max. We support you no matter what. Second time this year he's gone down with that bone bruise.
This time around, though, the Yankees are saying it's not as bad as the first time.
Okay, clap it up. Like to hear that. Yankees love to see that. Cole's doing well. 6 strong innings, 1 run allowed. Lowered his ERA to 3.13. Give it up for Garrett Cole. In his old age, and his dad bod is still pitching amazing. Going to be great. And then you got George Lompard Jr., who was having one of the greatest defensive seasons in MLB history. So Mitchell put this stat in before this weekend. This is pretty funny. George Lompard Jr. might be having one of the greatest defensive seasons ever. Through Thursday, he had accumulated 7 defensive run saves in just 127 innings, which would put him on pace for 81 defensive run saves in 162 games, which would be, I guess, a record. I don't know.
I think that would be the record by like 30 defensive run saves.
Very good.
Then he went on this weekend and had a few errors that people were like, bring Volpe back. So
he had 3 errors and 5 misplays, which I don't know what the fuck a misplay is, but apparently 5 misplays. Got absolutely destroyed. A defensive slump for George Lompard Jr. And I would say his defensive measures probably went down, but it is
definitely
funny
went down.
how quick the narrative changes. I did see some. It is time to bring up Volpe. It is time to bring up Volpe. After 2 straight years of being like, get this guy off the fucking squad, it took 1 week of like a rookie coming up and having a historic rookie week. I wouldn't say historic, but a great rookie week. 1 down week, we're off you. But the Yankees have a great week. They go 5-1.
5-1.
They win 3 games against the Orioles. They say, sorry, little bro, you're not on our level. Then they beat the Blue Jays 2 out of 3 and say, sorry, little bro, you ain't on our level either. Love it. Unfortunately, Giancarlo Stanton likely out for the season. Another calf injury. That's going to be, the 14th calf injury he's gone down with?
It is funny that last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, they released this video of him running the bases. We watched it last week, and we're like, man, he's running kind of hard, you know? And then they go, he re-aggravated his calf running during drills. So it might have been this.
Stan, it is really sad to see someone just like completely have their body just like torn apart. It's very simple. It's so funny. Not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. Injuries aren't funny, but like him and Chris Bryant are very similar. They get injured the same amount, but Chris Bryant, when he plays, sucks. But Giancarlo Stanton, despite being hurt every time, actually hits well like every time.
Well, I think it's because Chris Bryant's injuries are like chronic,
and
he's
bad.
always injured. He's always injured, but when he has come back, it's been I'm less injured now. So he's always injured.
But so is Stanton. You don't think he's a little?
I think his injuries do heal up, and then he goes out there, he hits 5 bombs, but then he runs to second on a ground out or something, and the force play isn't even at second. Then he like rips his hamstring.
Well, didn't he have double tennis elbow?
He did, yeah.
And then it's the calf that's hurting him now. And I want to say the calf is what's always the problem.
I think his legs just can't take any sort of running.
Yeah.
Like he jogs and he tears stuff.
It is kind of interesting. Like you look at the Yankees lineup, if they had Stanton healthy, you think he'd be playing? I mean, Paul Goldschmidt's had a great year and he's not even starting every day. You got.
I think them acquiring Elliot Ramos and Luis Garcia Jr. were in part because they didn't think Stanton would actually come back.
True, but also it's like you got Ben Rice. Does Ben Rice play any position other than first?
Not this year.
And DH?
Last year they used him as a catcher for a bit, but I think the catcher wear and tear is something the Yankees want to avoid. This year he's just been first in DH.
Okay, and then you got Paul Goldschmidt who's doing great.
But yeah, I think with Garcia, it's like with Garcia, they we're thinking we're probably not getting Stanton back, or Stanton isn't a reliable option. Like, he's working his way through the rehab assignments, but we can't guarantee that he'll play. And so when they acquired Garcia, that effectively moved Rice to DH full-time.
Yeah. I mean, they got the depth to withstand the injury. Also, Judge is throwing again and is hitting off a tee, so that's a good sign. But still, we're coming up on a month left of the season, and this guy's not even really hitting off live pitching, which is a little concerning. However, it is Aaron Judge. You think when he's coming back, he's still going to be godlike.
For the Yankees, too, is like, as long as you can get Judge back by the playoffs.
Yeah, you're not too worried about Judge, because it's Aaron Judge. Bellinger comes off the IL as well. Every time I see the Yankees squad, I'm just like, bro, this is just like head and shoulders the best team in the American League.
It's just the injuries.
Based on just, even with the injuries, they've done well. 18 games over 500, 3 games back against the Rays. But, like, especially with this pitching staff, there is no way you favor the Rays over the Yankees in a 7-game series. There is no freaking way. And, yeah, so a lot to be excited for in the Bronx, I would say. You guys got a chance. You guys are in it. Spencer Jones had a great week, too. What if Spencer Jones is legit? He's 6'7". Maybe he's the new Aaron Judge. Jazz Chisholm even had a great week. Even though all I hear is negative shit about Jazz Chisholm and the fact that he's not going to get re-signed. 154 WRC plus. Buckle up your seat belts, folks. It's going to be October in the Bronx soon. I'm going to say that they're going to make the playoffs.
I would say it would be the biggest collapse in MLB history if the Yankees don't make the playoffs.
All right, good. We're not going to see that this year. Red Sox also. You're going to make the playoffs. They had a little down week last week, but this week, just like the Yankees, they won 5 out of 6, 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks, and Adley Rutschman got hot, 4 hits and 4 RBIs in that series, including a home run. Welcome to Boston, baby. Welcome to the Bean. Pretty freaking good for him. And then you got a sweep against the Giants, and Rafael Devers comes home. What has happened to Rafael Devers?
He gets booed.
But I did see some claps too, so it wasn't as bad as you'd think.
Devers for the first time. The designated hitter, number 16.
He thinks it's so funny.
Devers.
See some claps, but you hear a lot of boos as well.
A lot of boos for a guy who got traded.
Yeah. He was seen taking grounders at first base. That's pretty funny. Famously refused to take grounders at first base as a Red Sox, but came back to Fenway and for the first time ever took grounders at first base at Fenway. Wanted to see how it felt, and he homered in his first game back. However, that was the only hit of the series, and they end up getting swept by the Red Sox. So clap it up for the Red Sox. I'm going to say you're making the playoffs. Also, I saw a crazy stat earlier this week. I don't know if this is still true, but Wilson Contreras had a higher WRC plus than Pico, Armstrong, and Ohtani.
So right now, the WRC plus leaders are Yordan Alvarez, Pico Armstrong, Wilson Contreras.
So there you go. So he's behind?
They both have 156 WRC plus. I think Fangraphs has the decimal points favoring PCA. But yeah, essentially tied.
So he's tied. So damn, Wilson Contreras also got booed this week by Red Sox.
Yeah,
fans.
I've been seeing the Red Sox boo Contreras like several times over the past couple weeks. Makes no sense to me.
Well, it's because he's not. I think he's dealing with a hamstring injury. The story is so he's not running out of the box on every ground ball. So the Red Sox fans who don't really know this see him jogging out of the box, and maybe if he gets doubled up or whatever, they're not a fan of that, and they booed him for not running, hustling a few times. He got in an argument with a fan during that game. I forgot what game that was, but it was a little bit of a controversy. So he's definitely saved the Red Sox season, has been the most beloved Red Sox, but also getting booed at the same time. So mixed bad for him. Also funny, William Abreu went 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts and won player of the game with a walk-off.
Gotta be a glitch. Negative 24.5 win expectancy added.
It's because he hit the walk-off. They had a funny walk-off against the against the Giants, which was technically a fielder's choice because I think the runner was safe on an error. But they threw it home and the runner was off the bag, but they gave him the player of the game. I don't know who decided that. I guess MLB gave him player of the game. 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, player of the game. So clap it up for Wilyer Abreu. Continues to be the player of the Red Sox, player of the game. And give it up for the Red Sox, who continue to be in third place and comfortably in a playoff spot. Well done. But the hottest team in baseball right now is not the Red Sox. The hottest team in baseball right now is the frickin' Philadelphia Phillies. So just 12 days ago, the Phillies had lost 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals. They fell 9.5 games back against the Braves. They were out of a playoff spot just 12 days ago. Since then, they've gone ape shit. All right, they swept the Twins, swept the Marlins, and this weekend they played the Cardinals. They debuted a new nipples touching celebration, as we saw earlier with JT Realmuto, and that has changed the offense for the better. They scored 19 runs in 2 games. On Friday, they went down by 1 run in the 10th inning. Alec Boehm comes to the plate with runners on the corner and smokes a walk-off 2-run triple. Phillies were spotted playing golf at the stadium, hit golf balls from the second deck into trash cans in center field. So they're really fucking around, dude. They're feeling themselves right now. According to Baseball Outliers, the Phillies have scored 12 runs. The Phillies scored 12 runs in 1 game. That was on Saturday. That's more than the Braves had scored in their past 6 games combined. To the Braves offense, the Phillies, after that, do even better. So on Sunday, they go into the 9th, losing 4 runs. It looks like the winning streak, it's cooked, right? They're down 4 runs in the 9th inning. They get a leadoff double from Bryce Harper, but a Luis Arraez pop out and a Brandon Marsh pop out back-to-back. So the Phillies are down 4 in the 9th with 2 outs. According to Baseball Savant, the Cardinals have a 100% chance to win this game. Realmuto gets a hit. Carl Crawford's son gets walked. Edmundo Sosa hits a bases-clearing double. All of a sudden, the Phillies are down 1 run. Brian De La Cruz comes up, ties the game on a single. Then Kyle Schwarber with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, down to his last strike. Boom! A Schwarbomb hits a walk-off home run after having a 100% chance to lose the game just minutes prior. 463-foot home run. That is the 4th longest walk-off in the StatCast era, and it is the 5th win of the year after being down to their final strike for the Phillies. And after falling out of a playoff spot for 1 day, the Phillies have scored 64 runs. That is the most in baseball. Lead the league in slugging, on base percentage, average, and OPS, while having a team ERA of 2.85. That is a 5th best in baseball. And Alec Boehm is hot too. Alec Boehm, who was dog shit for most of the season, 457 average during that stretch. Luis Arraez, since getting the Phillies, has been electric. 441 batting average during that stretch with a 1,045 OPS. So he's also hitting for some power over the past 9 games. Kyle Schwarber, 4 home runs in 9 games. Currently leads MLB with 39 Schwarbombs. Love it. And probably the most important is Aaron frickin' Nola, who has not only been bad this year, he's been bad the past 2-3 years, has been one of the worst pitchers in MLB since signing that big contract. The month of August, he's been insane. So 1.50 ERA over his past 2 starts with a 12.75 K per 9. So he's striking motherfuckers out. It's not completely fluky. In 4 starts in August, he has a 2.74 ERA with 11.7 Ks per 9. 7th best K per 9 in August. The Phillies have won 9 games in a row for the Phillies. And what makes that even crazier for the Phillies is that during that 9-game stretch, the Braves, the opposite. They've lost 7 of their last 9. So while the Phillies have had the most runs scored in baseball, the Braves have had the least runs scored in baseball. They have 19 runs over 9 games, while the Phillies scored 19 runs in 2 games. The Phillies have the highest on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and highest team OPS, while the Braves have the lowest on-base percentage, lowest slugging percentage, and lowest team OPS. And in 9 games, the Braves went from 9.5 games up to now just being 3 games up on the frickin' Phillies. Mitchell, how do you feel about this team?
It's pretty brutal.
Pretty brutal, bro, but why?
I mean, you just said it. Offense is terrible. Since the 12th of August, or the 14th of August, the Braves offense has 2 guys with WRC pluses above 100. The third best hitter on this team in the stretch is Drake Baldwin, who has a 69 WRC plus. That's a 621 OPS. Matt Olson, 560 OPS. Austin Riley, 520 OPS. Ozzie Albies, 493 OPS. Ronald Acuna Jr., this one hurts, 459 OPS.
Yeah, that's the big question is like, are you worried about Ronald Acuna Jr.? Because it's not like he's just having a slump. It's like off an injury. He's not looking too nimble.
What's weird about Acuna is when he first came off the IL, there was some bad batted ball luck. He was hitting some home runs, but then, the ball just wasn't going his way when he was hitting it in play. And I really think that's got to him because this past week, I was seeing him chase pitches I've never seen him chase before. He had a 37% strikeout rate over the last, 10 games? Not very Acuna-like. And up until last night, he hadn't been walking either. So I think he's pressing too much. I think the struggles kind of got to him. But the Braves offense as a whole right now, they're just not a good team, and that makes it harder to watch as a Braves fan. When the Phillies are just, everything's going right for the Phillies. Their offense is really good, but then they're also winning the close games. They won, I think 4 or 5 of the games that they've won over this winning streak have come when they were down in the 6th inning or later. Back last week, they won when they were down 5-0 in the 1st inning to the Twins. So even when the Phillies have had, bad starts to games, they finished it really well. And then it's also, like Kyle Schwarber hitting a 463-foot homer is pretty electric.
Yeah, it was an electric comeback for the Phillies. We got to give them some credit. They are down just 3 games, but Braves will turn it around. Every team has their slumps. Good news for the Braves though. Their trade acquisition. I'm accusing the Braves of making a good trade with Tyler Mahle. 4 starts, 1.52 ERA, 1.01 WHIP. I don't know, Mitch. Seems like he might be a game 2 starter. How do you line up the Braves? How do you line up a Braves starting rotation in the playoffs?
It really is going to be Sale, Mahle, AJ Smith, Shawver.
Shawver?
I think when you're lining up a playoff rotation, you've got to go with like pure stuff, right? Shawver hasn't pitched that much this year, but when he's on, he's one of the best pitchers on the team. He has a great fastball, good secondary stuff. Has trouble going into games, but that's what the bullpen's for. Up until this stretch for the Braves, there was the question of whether or not the Braves could surpass the Dodgers or the Brewers for the number 2 seed. Right now, that doesn't look very likely. They just lost a series to the Brewers. They play the Dodgers coming up, but they're 5 games back from the Dodgers, I believe. Right now, the Braves are probably going to be in a wild card series, and that's either going to be against the Phillies or the Padres. So you gotta fuck
them. We're gonna fuck them up, man. Come on. Do you think is Robert Suarez ever coming back, bro?
He started to throw.
Okay,
but yeah, it's been a tough week as a Braves fan to watch what the Phillies are doing, and then flip over and see what the Braves are doing. Complete opposite outcomes right now, and the Phillies they're playing well. They've won on a few walk-off. They've come back from close games, but it's not like they haven't earned those wins. There weren't like poor defensive plays on the other side. They just have out-hit their way out of those games.
You got to give credit where credit's due, and the Phillies finally have a positive run differential, which is like the first time this year, plus 27 for the Fighting Phillies. Gotta respect it. So according to Fangraphs, they project that the last NL wildcard team will have to have 86 wins to make the playoffs. The Marlins came into this week with 64 wins, so they need to go 24-13 to make the playoffs. As you can see, a lot tougher to make the playoffs as an NL team. They are 3 games back of a wildcard spot going into the week, have an 8.4 chance to make the playoffs, and they got swept by the Phillies. So you'd think, that'll do it for the Marlins. However, they then sweep the Nationals. Kind of saved their season. So they're still technically in it. Now just 4 games out of a playoff spot. 5.9% playoff odds. Need to go 21-10 to get to 86 wins. So as I said, it's way tougher in the NL. The Marlins go 3-3, drop 1 game, and their playoff odds basically cut in half. And if they don't go on a crazy hot streak, projection-wise, 21-10 to end the season. They're pretty much cooked. The Nationals are cooked this week. Their playoff odds fell to 0%, and they moved C.J. Abrams to second base. And you're telling me he's not happy about that?
So last week, the Nationals media came out with a story that the Nationals were swapping Nasim Nunez and C.J. Abrams. C.J. Abrams has ranked as one of the worst defensive shortstops over the last 4 years. But they were going to give it like a transitionary period. Abrams' agent comes out and says he's not thrilled with the decision, but he'll be a team player going forward. But then he sprained his ankle.
Damn.
So he's not played second base yet.
Damn. So James Wood is hurt. C.J. Abrams is hurt. So I did give, what team did I give credit for? The Rangers got credit for shutting them down 2 games in a row, but you're facing a lineup without C.J. Abrams or James Wood.
Yeah, the Nationals just went on a road trip where they went 1-8, I believe, and they scored like 20 runs. So
yikes. They
were one of the best offenses in baseball. They are not anymore. Jacob Young, though, made another crazy catch. I don't know if you saw this.
Spider-Man.
But
Spider-Man.
According to Outs Above Average, they gave this catch a 99% catch probability.
Yeah, and we still think PCA is the best defender based on these fucking...
They really struggle with wall balls.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, my friend. That doesn't look like a catch that 99% of outfielders make, but you know what? Maybe looks can be deceiving. Maybe Jacob Young is getting way too much credit for that catch. Great catch. But let's move on to the West, the Padres. So the Padres come into the week with 67 wins. They need to go 20-17 to reach 86 wins. That's wrong. They need to go 19-17 to win 86 wins. And they were just 1 game above the Diamondbacks for the last wild card spot. They get shut out against the Mets in the first game of their series. And in game 2, Fernando Tatis Jr. leads the game off with a homer. Okay? Then in the second inning, the Mets load the bases. 2 outs. Francisco Lindor is at the plate. He crushes one. And Fernando Tatis makes maybe the sickest catch of the year, just aura-wise. Goes up, robs it, and just stunts on him.
The hat flip, too.
If the hat had landed back on his head, we would have probably had to cancel baseball for the rest of eternity.
Give the Padres the World Series.
Yeah, just right then and there.
But he does this catch, saves 4 runs for the Padres, then comes back up in the 5th, hits another home run. Fernando Tatis Jr. drives in 3 runs and saves 4 runs in defense. That's a 7 runs by himself, single-handedly winning the Padres a game. Hits 2 more bombs for the Padres on Sunday. Fernando Tatis Jr. just went 12 for 25, batted .480 with 4 home runs, 2 doubles, 11 RBIs with an OPS of 1,521 this week. He has 12 home runs since the All-Star break, tied for the most in MLB. So Fernando Tatis Jr. is back. The Padres do lose 2 out of 3 against the Mets, but this weekend they swept the Twins. They have won 10 of their last 13 games, second best record in baseball since the All-Star break, and are now 2 games up on the Diamondbacks for the last wild card spot. So shout out to the Padres getting hot at the right time. One downside about the Padres week is Casey Mize, who gave up 8 runs in his debut and allowed 4 more runs in 2 2/3 innings on Saturday, slipped in the dugout while leaving the field, strained his ankle. So that was a big trade piece for the Padres, was supposed to save the season. I mean, their season has gotten a lot better since then, but not because of him. Had to lead the game in the 3rd inning, but is considered day-to-day. As of now, I don't believe he's on the IL. Seems like it's going to be...
He's trying to make his next start, but
okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of discourse online about his velo going way down, and so it looked like it was an arm injury, and then they come out and they say actually it was an ankle sprain.
It's crazy, man. Casey Mize was electric for the Tigers all year. Then he goes out west, time zone change. Seems to have fucked him up. But do you got anything else on this big Padres hot streak?
I mean, definitely being carried by Tatis. It's kind of crazy that he has, 17 home runs now, considering he did not homer.
It's crazy.
Until the end of May. The rest of the Padres, too, kind of had a good week. Machado,
Heating
Had a
up.
good week. I think he had a 160 WRC plus for the week. Hit a homer, 2 RBIs. Ty France, 5 RBIs, a homer. Cronenworth, 128 WRC plus. He was terrible to begin the year, and I think not since the IL, but since the beginning of August, I think he's been pretty good. No, he's not. Wait, 679 OPS, so not as bad. But yeah, definitely Tatis. Like you were saying with the game against the Mets, that's a 7-run swing. They did have a bad game in that first game against the Mets where they had 4 runners thrown out at the plate in the first 2 innings of the game. That was ugly, but then they salvaged the week. So great week for San Diego.
If Casey Mize is hurt for real, they might just have to go bullpen game the entire playoffs.
I think they have the bullpen to do that.
For real. They got Michael King, who's a great starter, but other than that, Walker Buehler's not had a great year, 4.63, and this is not the first time he's had a bad year. Randy Vasquez, not great. And then you got Yermain Marquez, who I don't even believe is on the 40-man roster at the moment. He might have been released or something, but he's got a negative .2 WAR.
Yeah, no, he's not on the team anymore.
Yeah, you got Griffin Canning, who's made some starts for him, but 6.21 ERA, negative .9 WAR. So I don't know who's really getting the starts over here. Robbie Ray, another trade piece, he's pitched okay, 4.2 ERA, just 3 starts. So Robbie Ray can get some starts, but not a great starting staff. The bullpen, however, lights the fuck out. I think they still got they definitely got a top 5 bullpen. Yeah, 5th in ERA this year. And Mason Miller, who is not getting as much attention because he's not striking out 30 per 9, but still.
Some of that ERA too is attributed to Griffin Canning, who has been the bulk guy out of the bullpen in 11 of his 22 games, and that guy has a 6.21 ERA. If you look at the core relievers for the Padres, obviously closer Mason Miller lights out all year. He has a .6 FIP. That is insane. I think there's only been one other pitcher across the full season with a FIP under 0.7. That was Craig Kimbrell. Then Adrian Morejon, Wandy Peralta, Bradley Rodriguez, Yuki Matsui, Jeremiah Estrada. Those are all really, really good relievers. And I mean, Estrada down on the list, 360 ERA. He's maybe their 5th person out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
If the Padres can get through 3 or 4 innings, they just turn it over to the bullpen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bullpens are important in the playoffs. So maybe the Padres are my team to win the World Series. I have to wait to the World Series preview, which will be in a month from today. This season will be almost over, guys. Don't forget that. So they are back on top, 2 games up on the Diamondbacks, who did not have a great week because their star freaking player went missing. Ketel Marte went missing. According to the Arizona Diamondbacks, they have placed him on the restricted list as of Monday, shortly after he was seen in a casino, adding to all the hoopla, drama, rumors going around. And when asked about it, his manager seemed like he had no idea why Ketel Marte did not show up to their game on Monday. This is not the first time that Marte has been placed on the restricted list. On Monday, the Diamondbacks were scheduled to face the Red Sox in Boston. So massive series for the Diamondbacks. They're just 1 game back of the Padres at this point for the last wild card spot. Fangraphs has them at just a 30% chance to make it into the playoffs. Right now, the final wild card spot in the NL, as I said earlier, is projected to have 86 wins. Going into the series, they had 66 wins, meaning they'd have to go 20-17 to end the season. If they don't go 20 out of their last 37 games, it doesn't look like they're going to have a chance. They got a month left to go, so it is what you would call crunch time. They need to beat the freaking Red Sox, but right before the game is about to start, Ketel Marte is mysteriously placed on the restricted list. So this is supposed to be the franchise player, Ketel Marte. He's been extended, multiple times, I believe, right? Didn't he get multiple extensions?
I believe 2.
2 extensions for Ketel Marte. He's under contract until 2031. They've already paid him $57 million, and they owe him at least another $95 million. On the field, it's worked out. He battled injuries in 2021 and 22, but Went off in 2023, led them back to a World Series appearance in 2023, put up 6.8 WAR the next year, made back-to-back All-Star games, back-to-back Silver Sluggers, was third in MVP voting in 2024, and was the 9th most valuable position player in baseball during that 2-year stretch. But over the past 2.5 seasons, it's been filled with strange absences and rumors, off-the-field drama. It sounds like the clubhouse doesn't like him for some reasons. There's just a bunch of weird shit going on. So the team took a flight back to Boston, Ketel Marte was on the flight. They landed, went to the hotel right before the game was about to start. He's on the restricted list. So basically, a restricted list is like an injured list for players who aren't injured. So if you're on the restricted list, that means basically you're not able to play, but you don't really have a good excuse. So usually it means there's some off-the-field drama. When you see someone's on the restricted list, your head goes to the worst case possible.
Earlier this year, Carmen Mlodzinski was placed on the restricted list when he refused to pitch out of the bullpen. So that's kind of like the uses for the restricted list.
A couple years ago,
Yoenis Cespedes went missing.
But I was going to say Wander Franco got arrested for freaking, having a 13-year-old girlfriend. This is where your brain goes when you have a restricted list for me. You get a Trevor Bauer situation. Not to say that Ketel Marte, we got nothing on that. The guy went missing.
But yeah, the range is the guy refuses to pitch to he's having legal issues off the field.
So it's essentially an indefinite suspension because your team doesn't have to pay you during that time. Until you're able to play again, you don't get paid. So he's restricted. You're not playing, you're not getting paid. A report comes out shortly after that he was spotted at the hotel bar around 11 p.m. the night before. So that confirmed Marte was in Boston. Also confirms the freaking haters to say that he's totally uninterested in playing ball and he just wants to party his ass off. I never partied with Ketel, but I bet he couldn't even hang with a guy like me because I could take mad Jaeger bombs. And when I'm in Boston, car bomb in Boston, nothing like it. Boston, great drinking town. When the Scottish guys drank at the hotel bar, everyone loved it. Ketel Marte does it? People got a problem with it?
It's a double standard. It's sick.
It is a double standard. Yeah.
A guy I played softball with, though, went to school in Boston, was saying that the bars closed too early for his liking. So Ketel Marte was probably not out late.
Shout out to the guy Mitch plays softball with. What time does the bar close in Boston, Siri? We're going to have to get back to you on that one. That's a question we will never be able to find out. Either way, they're open to at least 11 p.m. at night at this one hotel. When asked after the game, manager Torey Lovullo says, "All I know is that he's dealing with a personal issue. I believed he was going to be here, and he just did not show up." And that's not the first time that happened with Marte. So this criticism started in 2024. The Diamondbacks were contending for a wild card spot. Much like this year, very similar situation. Marte missed a pivotal game against the Giants after he requested an off day. The Diamondbacks missed out on a playoff spot by one game. So there was a lot of contention afterwards. An article comes out that he was criticized for taking too many off days. Marte says that he had to take that off day because he's dealing with injuries. Like I said, 2021 and 2022, he missed a ton of time with injuries. So it's basically a load management type situation. However, according to reports in Arizona, teammates were frustrated with that. An article came out in 2025 towards the end of the season that for the past month, his teammates and others in the organization had quietly grumbled about his propensity to ask for days off and that they were frustrated by the time off he requested following the burglary of his home. So this was another incident in 2025 last year. He was an All-Star last year, started in the All-Star game, batted third in the All-Star game, but during the All-Star game, his house got robbed. So this news breaks that Ketel Marte's house got robbed, and then he misses the first 3 games out of the All-Star break, and we all assumed it's because he got his house robbed. Really, he was in the Dominican Republic. His house in Arizona got robbed, so we didn't really see the correlation why that would be directly correlated. The Diamondbacks had an issue with it. They ended up placing him on the restricted list for at least one of those games, and basically was like, bro, you don't have an excuse. You got to be here.
This is definitely one of those ones that I've not been sympathetic to, where it's like your home in one city gets robbed, so you go thousands of miles away to your other home.
I thought the house in Arizona got robbed because people knew he was in the DR.
But then he was already planning to go to the Dominican Republic. His house gets robbed, and then he goes, I'm staying longer.
Well, did we ever catch the guys?
I don't know.
That's the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this. Does he have a Ring camera? Well, news is that he's in Arizona right now rehabbing an injury, so that means his house in Dominican Republic is not occupied. We should rob that one. Kidding. Do not rob Ketel Marte's house. He's been through enough, guys. Either way, so that comes out again, and again, teammates are annoyed by his absence. They didn't think it was justified. Torey Lovullo came out and defends Marte. His teammate Geraldo Perdomo does a joint interview with Lovullo, also defends Marte, calling him a great teammate. So everyone has to come out and basically say, listen, you're taking him out of context. He's made mistakes in the past, but he's a good guy, okay? Marte comes out and apologizes himself, saying that he should have been there those 3 days. And then all offseason, there's rumors that the Diamondbacks are going to trade Marte. Ketel Marte was even asked after the season if he thought he was going to get traded. He said sí, which is yes in Spanish. They do not trade him, so Marte comes back. And once again this year, there is more problems. At the end of July, going into this trade deadline, there was another article that said that teammates are continuously frustrated by Ketel Marte taking days off. At the end of July, he clears his Instagram of all his D-backs content and unfollows the team. This causes more rumors that he's going to get traded this deadline. Doesn't get traded. Torey Lovullo has to come out again and says that things are fine. Everyone loves Ketel Marte. There is no truth to the rumors that he's a bad teammate and that people don't like him. Now, a month later, the guy goes freaking missing. And on Monday, they don't know where he is. On Tuesday, they're still confused. Torey Lovullo says he thinks Marte returned to Phoenix to get imaging on his left knee, but they don't even know for sure. Says he hasn't heard from Marte. He's unsure whether anyone in the organization is currently in contact with him. His teammate Gabriel Moreno says he reached out to Marte, hadn't been able to contact him. Perdomo also hadn't been able to contact him. He left the game early on Friday before this with knee soreness, sat on the bench on Saturday, but played Sunday. So then everyone's thinking it must be the knee thing. And 3 days after going on the restricted list, it is the knee thing. So then they're saying, okay, well, it's actually his knee is the problem. So they move him to the injured list. They move him back to Arizona. They put him in the spring training facility to get treatment. So that's where Ketel Marte is currently. We have found him. We found him at Talking Stick spring training facility, which also just so happens to be on an Indian reservation and also happens to have a casino. And we got a freaking citizen journalist taking videos of him at the casino. So this also is a bad look. And everyone says he's not even rehabbing. He's just gambling, making him look even worse. So it's been a tough week for Ketel Marte. His manager comes out and defends him, saying it's not a choice I would make, but Ketel Marte is a grown man. He did not break any rules. He's able to go to a casino. He's allowed to go to a casino, okay? It's not going to hurt your knee to go do a little bit of blackjack. It's probably good for your knee. You get to sit on a chair. Chill out a little bit. Either way, there's also another bad Instagram notion. He liked the Instagram post in Spanish that says he no longer wanted to play in Arizona. So the question is, do the Arizona Diamondbacks even want him in Arizona? Kevin Ginkel, his teammate, says, quote, it's disappointing. There's really no explanation for it. I think a lot of players are just frustrated with how it happened. We have two teammates saying they haven't even been able to reach him. And this series not been good, struggling. 760 OPS, 30 points lower, 130 points lower than last year, just slightly above league average. And it comes at a tough time for the Diamondbacks. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox. That is a 3-game losing streak. They do win 2 out of 3 against the Reds, but after getting up to 53% playoff odds last week, they are back down to 32% now. Now 2 games back of a playoff spot. In order to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win around 19 of their next 31 games. So they're going to have to start winning, and they're not winning. They're not winning, and they don't have their best player. What would you do, Mitchell?
This is so baffling, all of this. I feel like some of the Marte incidents in the past you can kind of squint at, like him not going back to Arizona after the All-Star break. I don't get it, but there's like a thread where you can go like, I can see the rationale maybe. But like just traveling to Boston and then skipping out on the game and then this whole drama this week, everything I read, I got more and more confused.
It's interesting. And maybe because he's been dealing with the knee. He knows that he's been getting shit for taking days off. Maybe he felt like if I take a day off, they're going to give me shit. They don't want me to take a day off. I want a day off. They're trying to pressure me to play. I don't want to play. I'm just not going to fucking go. That's speculation. Also, it could be some off the field shit. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. We don't know. That's what they're saying. There's off the field issues. That can mean anything. Personal tragedy. I don't know. If it was really a traditional tragedy, maybe they would say something.
And then it was like, oh, he's on the restricted list. Oh, it's the knee injury. If it was the knee injury, why didn't you just go to the trainer? Well, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what Jack has to think as like a non-baseball fan.
And as a former paramedic and as a guy with a fucked up knee himself.
All of that feels pretty irrelevant. I think the way I'm looking at it is it seems like he's probably been like this his whole life. He's making kind of like sporadic decisions. Manic would be an over-exaggeration, but it feels like some people don't handle having money that well and fall into their old ways and all this kind of stuff. It sounds like he's having some emotional issues, which is why they're being so vague about it, and he's being a little bit immature in a way, or so. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know much about Ketel Marte.
He's
beyond this.
He's manic depressive. We got to get him on some lithium.
It's just likely that somebody in his life and culture and upbringing and stuff wouldn't want to address things like that. So he's just doing things like drinking or gambling and that kind of thing.
So we're going therapy route is our next step forward, you think?
Yeah, I do feel like Mitch is expecting me to say something funny.
No, I'm legitimately like, I'm so
Jack
in the baseball weeds.
Jack is legitimately concerned.
Where I'm like,
he's private on Instagram now. That's never a good sign.
No, it's really not.
Marte's private on Instagram?
He's gone private on Instagram. When a public figure goes private on Instagram, that is not a good sign.
No, I was really just interested because Jack is more detached from the baseball world. I'm just like, I don't know what to make of this. It's all so confusing. Everything you read, it gets more and more confusing. And I don't know. So Jack was an extra voice.
Well, it is just tough. It's tough because you're the Diamondbacks. You're 2 games out of a playoff spot. You got a chance at the playoffs, all right? But it's getting tougher every week. Your playoff odds went from 53.2% to 30% in 1 week. That is a 13% drop in a week. Time is running out, and the Padres are hot. You're going to have to surpass them, most likely. And your star player is missing. So it's no bueno. No bueno. What are you going to do? And the team you're chasing, they're not really chasing them because the chase is over. The Dodgers, though, they go undefeated this week. Blake Snell, he's back. He had a great week. Tucker, according to Mitchell, cried. Kyle Tucker, they gave him the Roki Sasaki treatment. I don't think he was really crying, but I think he went multiple homestands without a hit, but he did get a hit this most recent.
He literally just like scratched his eye one time.
They're like, I think he's crying.
He did also like drop a ball in the blowout. So him and Diaz both had terrible games in one of the blowouts against the Rockies. It was really funny. They won 11-5, but Tucker dropped an easy fly ball and Diaz allowed 3 runs and then went on the IL. But overall, like a great week for the Dodgers.
It's like, okay, well, Diaz is the worst closer in baseball. He's on the IL for the 3rd time this season, 10+ ERA. Kyle Tucker, their other free agent signing, hasn't gotten a hit in 3 homestands. Tarek Skubal has not been good since he's been a Dodger.
Did have a really good start after allowing 3 runs on Saturday. Andy Pages, though, is injured. He's going to miss 4 to 5 weeks with a broken hand.
Damn. So he's not going to be back until the playoffs.
Right. But I mean, for the Dodgers, everything's just about the playoffs. Anything from here on out, I mean, they could go on a 10-game losing streak. They'd still be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they've won 7 in a row this week. Will Smith began a rehab assignment, so there's another freaking all-star coming back to the squad. Shohei Ohtani is going to be pitching in a week from now, so things are looking up for the Dodgers. You didn't have to meet. I didn't have to be the one to say it. They already knew it.
They did this interesting thing on and their series against the Rockies where they kept Roki in LA when they first went to Denver. And then they flew him out an extra day because apparently sports scientists believe that minimal exposure to the altitude enhances performances. So they left Yamamoto and Skubal in LA for this road trip. They didn't. They said stay home.
They didn't
Do not come.
they
You're
didn't
not
get to
welcome.
go to Colorado.
You're not welcome to go to Colorado because they believe that if they have exposure to the high altitudes, when they come back, they'll be worse. Sasaki pitched really well. 2 runs, 5 innings pitched against the Rockies and Denver. So maybe the Dodgers have figured out a new strategy.
Damn, that just can't be good for team camaraderie, though.
Do you think him, Roki, Yamamoto, Tarek, they just went out?
I don't think they go out. The Dodgers, to me, seem like a very corporate team that does not hang out.
Well, they do have that second plane just for the players. So
That's true. Maybe they're close.
maybe they weren't going out enough, and the management was like, we need a second plane.
But I just see shit like I just saw that like Miguel Rojas gave Scooble like a new nickname, like Scooby Snacks or something fucking stupid. Scooby, and they were like, "Oh, Scooble, do you like your new nickname that Miguel Rojas gave you?" It's like, wow, you're having fun. I'm like, this shit sounds fake to me. I mean, no respectable social circle will ever respect Miguel Rojas as a clubhouse leader, in my opinion.
Especially
Unless it's corporately ran and everyone's faking it. Now,
it is funny that Miggy Rojas has somehow managed to stay relevant on a team with as many stars as the Dodgers.
well, listen, I gave him a break all season because he did literally hit one of the biggest home runs in baseball history. I mean, that walk-off or that game-tying home run, come on.
I mean, yeah, it's one of the biggest. Like, legitimately, it's one of the biggest non-walk-off homers in MLB history. Full stop.
It's like hilarious. I mean, it's so funny. We weren't doing the podcast then. I spent the entire every episode I was like, I hate this guy. He sucks. I don't know how he's on the team. And he hits the biggest home run of the year, Miguel Rojas. So I do have respect for Miguel Rojas. I just don't know why we're letting him be the guy who decides nicknames. But, it works for the Dodgers. You can't hate on it. They're undefeated this week, and they're in first place with 100% chance to make the playoffs. Odds. Question. But are they better than the Brewers? Yes, but record-wise, no.
Watching the Brewers this week, man, they are an impressive team. They've got great pitching. Their hitting is not at all what I'm used to in modern baseball, where they do not hit home runs. They just kill you death by a million cuts. Like William Contreras this week went like 8 for 11, and they were 7 singles or something like that. They are, I don't know. I feel like if the Dodgers and the Brewers played each other in a NLCS rematch from last year, I'm still picking the Dodgers.
I thought you were going to say Brewers.
No, I can't.
Thought you had the balls.
The Dodgers pitching staff, I mean, who's their 4th starter? Blake Snell?
Yeah, Blake Snell.
Blake Snell allowed 1 earned run in 12 innings this week, and he's probably not starting in a 5-game series.
That's cap, bro. You don't think so? Yeah, they might not even have to use a bullpen.
You're going Yamamoto and Skubal 1 and 2, right? It's who's starting game 3?
Ohtani?
Shohei Ohtani.
So you're pushing Snell down to 4. It's like, and then Roki's coming out of the bullpen in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. Glasnow. What about their all-star pitcher? Sheehan.
Robletsky.
Sorry, Robletsky.
He's injured.
They're NPCs to me. Sheehan, Robletsky. And they got rid of River Ryan. How are they going to do without River Ryan? Anyway, I got to pee again. But I think I can make it. We only got a few more teams to talk about.
I mean, it's up to you. If you pee, we'll do another question.
Okay, do a couple more questions.
We'll do a question. It's fun. Welcome back to Mitch Doesn't Exist. I just pulled a full Joey. Everything I said was wrong just now. I said, welcome back to Mitch. All right, Mitch. Where are we? Can we get an off-season episode where Jack gets to host and pick whatever non-baseball topic he wants? I'm in. Also, I think I'm going to start my own podcast.
I don't know if people on this podcast realize that you've also made appearances on other podcasts, and you're a producer for another podcast.
I do produce another podcast. It's called Dog Name Podcast with Winston Hodges, who you might have seen on Kevin Hart's Funny AF. He's the Southern guy with big glasses. He's a very funny comic, but I am a comedian.
So, like, if you don't like baseball, and I've seen a few of you guys in the comments who don't like baseball, but like comedy and like Jackheads, he's around other places.
But why are they watching this podcast if they don't like baseball? I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, I'm just getting into baseball this year, found this podcast, and it's perfect because it's like not too serious, and we're, it's us and John Boy. Everyone else is kind of flat to me, kind of boring, as if it's dead, No, I'm just kidding.
They don't exist in here.
Yeah, but I don't know. I would do that. Joey would never let that happen, but technically, I mean, I can just do it. What's he gonna do?
You could post it too.
I'll post it on PDE.
Post it like 3 a.m. on a Friday. He won't notice.
I'm gonna have a
until
guest.
Sunday.
It's gonna be Mitch. So probably not an off-season episode like that. We still don't know what we're doing in the off-season, and Joey likes to play things close to the chest, so who knows what we're gonna end up doing. But I'm excited to find out, dude.
Where we're gonna be.
Anyway, that was our one question in the Mitch corner. Mitch doesn't exist. We're back here with Joey Duffield. Joey, do we have any other ad reads today?
No.
Cool.
No ad reads. We already did one. That's all we got.
Let's do one more, Mitch. Should the Dodgers bring up... Is this Jose DePaulo?
It's Josue.
Josue DePaulo and sit Kyle Tucker?
No.
Well,
But also,
you heard it here, folks.
there are people in this in the baseball world who are very, 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 very good at prospects, and I am not one of those people. Like, I really don't understand how people have the bandwidth to watch Major League Baseball and minor league baseball all year.
You gotta be a sick fuck. Some people work remotely, though, and they just gotta fill their ears with nonsense in the background. You know what I mean?
No, I'm talking about the people who produce the minor league baseball content. Like, there are sickos out there who are watching Major League Baseball and then watching minor league baseball, and they have a very good knowledge about prospects. Like, I didn't
ask me anything.
I didn't know who Ronald Acuna Jr. was until 2017, and he debuted in 2018.
I didn't know guys. So 2025.
There were guys who were following Braves prospects who, like, in late 2015, they were like, "You guys need to be paying attention to that."
Like, this middle schooler's coming up right now. He's got a heater of an eye.
I can't understand how you can.
His fastball. All right, Joseph.
All right. Shohei's coming back. Freddie Freeman is on the team. Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernandez. These are all Dodgers players, but I don't really want to talk about the Dodgers anymore. The Giants called up a fat pitcher. His nickname is Tugboat, so that's also big news. And I think he did well in his first start, and everyone's excited for Tugboat. And
let's pull up Tugboat. Pitching Ninja did a good side-by-side of him as a little leaguer and him as a major leaguer.
Oh my God. I thought that they were just comparing him to a normal MLB pitcher, and he was just that size.
No. This was him as a little leaguer, and then now him as a big leaguer. He's apparently like 285 pounds, 6'1".
Big dog.
Consistent, though. His style actually hasn't changed very much.
I know. That's really impressive that
Being fat makes you better at baseball.
someone should make a YouTube video on that.
Go watch it on YouTube. You can really be enlightened about mass equals gas, baby. That's why I think Paul Skeens needs to get fatter. People are saying he's too fat.
He's working on it.
I think he needs to get more fat.
It's a
Give him
process.
time.
Paul Skeens too. He's in that process, you know.
Yes. Let's move on to the AL Central. So my Tigers, who are not my Tigers, Mitchell's Tigers, have absolutely embarrassed themselves. On August 13th, 11 days ago, they had won 9 of the last 12 games. They had won 4 series in a row. These guys were sole possession of a playoff spot.
I was thinking the Tigers, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going on a
11
run.
days ago, Mitchell, they were in the playoffs. They get swept by the White Sox, lose 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, then they get swept by the Royals. The worst team in MLB a week or two ago, not anymore because they're hot, but they lose 9 out of 10 games, 6 of them to division rivals. They have fallen 8 games under 500. It's going to be tough for the Tigers. So this is per Tigers data, good Tigers Twitter account. Tigers have lost 19 games when leading in the 7th inning or later. They've blown 28 saves. So according to them, Tigers data, when they're protecting a 1 or 2 run lead in the 7th inning or later, they have an 8.05 ERA. All other situations, the bullpen, 2.64 ERA. Protecting a 1 or 2 run lead in the 7th inning or later, 8.05. That is terrible. When it matters most, they fall apart at the seams.
If I was a young baseball fan, if I was a young baseball fan from Michigan, I think this would turn me off from baseball. This is so bad.
Yes, and their bullpen sucks. And they traded their starters at the pen at the deadline. We thought they had a chance. They are just 3.5 games out, Mitchell. According to the projections, the Tigers, who have won 61 games right now, they've played 130 games. So they have 32 games left. If they need to win 20 of their next 30 games, if they go 20-10 to end the season, they can make a playoff spot. So they're going to have to be one of the hottest teams in baseball over their last month in order to save their season. It's going to be tough. I believe their playoff odds right now, they have dropped to... The playoff odds at the moment have dropped to 4.6%.
I'm shocked they're that high.
Not very good. So the Tigers, tough week. They get swept by the Royals, who had a great week. Royals win 7 in a row. Second hottest team in baseball. Sweep the Athletics and sweep the Tigers. No longer the worst team in baseball. Now they're the third worst team in baseball. Salvador Perez stole a base.
They have an 8-game winning streak. Won 9 of their last 10.
Let's go. The Pasquatch come off the AL, right? Just got off the IL.
He's been very good. I feel like he has these runs every year where he isn't very good and then he just goes crazy. But yeah, he came back on the 17th. Since coming back, he has a 1.2818 OPS.
Gotta respect it. None of these teams are going to catch the White Sox. Doesn't look like. They won 2 out of 3 against the Mets. Won 1 out of 3 against the Cubs. So they go 3-3, but they
also lost a game to the Braves.
Oh, yeah. So, actually a 3-4 week. Still 3.5 games up. Right now, the White Sox are comfortably in first place at the moment. Then you got the Twins, who came into the week 60-65. So they're 1.5 games out of a playoff spot. They need to go 21-16 the rest of the season to get in the playoffs. 25% playoff odds. They go into a series against the Braves and sweep the fucking Braves. Best series of the year for the Twins against the Braves. Bullpen only allows 3 runs the entire series. Playoff odds went up to 40%, so a 15% increase in 3 days. They were in sole possession of a playoff spot after this sweep. Then what do? Get swept by the Padres. Bullpen does a 180, 10.57 ERA against the Padres. Now just 21% chance to make the playoffs. So they hit a high on Wednesday when they swept the Braves, or Thursday, wherever the fuck it was. Hit a high, got up to 40% playoff odds. Then they get swept. Now their playoff odds are 21%. So their playoff odds got worse this week after they had the highest point of the season. Now, if they want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to go 18-13 the rest of the way. Probably going to have to play their best stretch. So it's tough for the Twins right now. And crazy week for them. And then you got the Guardians, who probably had the best week in the NL Central. They came into the week 60-65. They fell to 4th in the AL Central. We're 16-13 since the All-Star break. Playoff odds were down to 24%, but this week, oh boy, they got a good week. They got to play the Giants and the Rockies. That's what the doctor ordered. Go 5-1. Now their playoff odds are up to 46%. They currently, don't look now, are the final AL wildcard spot. The Cleveland Guardians. I told you, don't count the Guardians out. They got it done. Sweep the Rockies on the road. And Joe Adell, big trade acquisition. 2 homers this week, 13 RBIs this week, slugged .714 this week. And that is what the fucking Guardians needed. They have the worst offense in baseball by runs this season, or they did. Now they're fucking 26. So they had a great offensive week. And a lot of that has to do with trading for Joe Adell. 14 RBIs in 1 week. God damn. Helps to play in Colorado, but they did. They scored 20 runs in 3 games in Colorado. Love it. You think the Guardians have a chance at the White Sox?
I mean, that's tough. They're how many games back from the White Sox?
3.5 games back with the White Sox right now. 1 game under 500. But they've won 4 out of 5. 5 out of 6. Going into a series against the Angels, then the Royals, and they got 3 games against Detroit after that. So they got a pretty good 6-game stretch right here to keep this hot streak going. Would not be surprised if the Guardians challenge the White Sox. And I would definitely not be surprised if they make the playoffs. But other than that, that's all I got on the AL Central. Unless you want to highlight anything on those 5 teams, Mitch, before we move on.
I mean, Parker Messick, I think when I was doing research this week, I let out an audible wow looking at his stats. I knew he'd been pretty good, but he has a 2.54 ERA, 149 innings. He's a rookie. Somehow that had slipped my attention. I thought he had exhausted his rookie eligibility last year, but somehow he has the 3rd best Rookie of the Year odds, despite having like the 7th best qualified ERA, 6th lowest qualified ERA. And then Gavin Williams for the Guardians, 3rd starter this year to reach 200 strikeouts. Guardians pitching.
Yeah, that's what they're good at. They always produce pitchers. A lot of guys you never heard of come up, like a guy like Messick and is a fucking ace. Could be Rookie of the Year.
Could be.
Really think so?
I really think for Rookie of the Year, I know Kevin McGonigal has had an excellent season.
5th best position player by WAR.
But I don't know, man. Messick doing this as a rookie is incredible.
Is JJ Weatherholt's a rookie, right?
National League.
Yeah. But is he going to win Rookie of the Year?
Probably.
And you also got Murakami.
I would take Messick over Murakami for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, McGonigal gets a big bump for his defense. It is so funny. The Tigers' 4th and 5th best players position players in baseball are on the Tigers, according to F4. Dylan Dingler and Kevin McGonigal. It's anybody's guess. You know, Gabriel Moreno has the same offensive WAR as Ohtani.
I feel like a couple weeks ago I was saying some good stuff about Moreno, and you went, "Cool," and then moved on.
Only 102 games. Moreno. 23 less games played than Ohtani. Same. F4.
He's one of 5 qualified hitters. 8 qualified hitters with 300 batting average or above. I saw the stat. I don't know who had it, but he started the season with like a 222 batting average through the first like 2 or 3 weeks of the season. So essentially for Moreno, it's been since about 3 weeks into the season where he's become a really, really good hitter.
Maybe if he could just talk to Ketel.
Ketel gets those calls from, he sees Gabby, he's hanging up right away.
Fuck it, dude. These fucking losers. Fuck the Diamondbacks. I'm unfollowing your ass. All right, then let's move to the NL Central, which is just the Brewers division. I mean, Mitchell already freaking told you how good the Brewers have been. They have the best record in baseball at the moment. 81 wins for the Brew Crew. 50 losses. They are 31 games over 500. They have extended their lead to 6 games over the Cubbies, who have also played great ball. They win 2 out of 3 against the Braves this weekend. And we got to give credit where credit's due. They're sailing into a playoff spot. The Cubs also sailing into a playoff spot. We've already gave you a good recap of the Cubs week and their historic series against the Mariners and PCA's historic home run against the White Sox, but also Dansby Swanson's on the IL. So Dansby Swanson, that could be a big loss for the playoffs because he's down for, 4 to 6 weeks?
If the timeline's right, he's coming back right as the playoffs are beginning. It does help for the Cubs, though, that Nico Hoerner is technically a shortstop. When they signed Swanson, Hoerner was already a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. They just moved him to second. And so with Swanson out, they can just move him back to short. But, you know, Swanson's been one of the best defensive shortstops in the league since about 2021. So it is a big, big loss there.
Big loss. Also, Gosman got hurt this week, but that doesn't seem like to be serious. It was like hand cramp. What
Yeah, it was like hand cramps or something.
A hand cramp? Yeah, dang. Yeah, dang it. And then you got the Pirates, who I have eliminated from playoffs. Lose 2 out of 3 against the Tigers. Paul Skeens comes back after 7 days rest. Everyone's looking at him. Another mediocre start. Just went 4 1/3 innings on 81 pitches. They will not let this guy go deep into games. Lost 3 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks. Fastest pitch was 98, so that's better than his last start, but his average velo about the same as it's been all year. So
that was disappointing to see.
yeah, still on the struggle bus for Skeens. Still don't know for sure what's going on. Hopefully it's not an injury. Do you think them? I mean, they might shut him down because they're done. I mean,
I feel like if it was an injury, he'd already be on the IL.
True.
Because I don't feel like the Pirates would be taking any chances on Skeens. But there's clearly something like mechanical going on. That, you give him extra days rest. You give him a few extra days for his arm to heal up from his previous start, and he just gets back to even. And if you remember, his average velocity had been dipping down all season long. So technically, him having a 96.8 average velocity is an uptick from his previous 4 or 5 starts, but it's not that fast. His fastest pitch wasn't even 98. It was 97.9 for a guy who used to average 98, 99.
Yeah, so another tough roll. They get swept by the Dodgers. Paul Skeens is cooked. Their whole pitching staff is cooked. That's been the biggest disappointment for the Pirates, who we thought was going to have a top 5 pitching staff. They're 20th in team ERA for starters. Not what was predicted. And they've been eliminated, unfortunately. Sorry. And then the Cardinals, who are kind of the last bubble team, I would say, in the NL. I won't eliminate them yet, but it's getting late. So the Cardinals right now are, if the season ends today, which it doesn't, Cardinals at the moment 5.5 games back of a wild card spot. So yeah, that's really pushing it. 5.5 games back, 66 and 66. If an NL team, according to projections, need to win 86 wins to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win 20 games to end the season. And how many games do they have left? They have 30 games. They're going to have to go 20-10 to close this bitch out. And I don't know if they got it in them. They just got swept by the Phillies, which didn't help their case.
And a brutal loss on Sunday, too.
Yeah, they lost 8. They played 8 games this week. They're fucking running these guys into a wall, bro. 8 games this week. 5-game series against the Reds. They should have lost that last game, but they got dropped a freaking gimme. Lose 1, 2, 3, 1, 4 one-run games this week. Win 2 other one-run games this week. So it was a slugfest. But at the end of the day,
I think they lost 3 of these on a walk-off, too, because Ellie De La Cruz had a walk-off on Monday.
tough.
Bohm had the walk-off triple on Friday. Schwarber walk-off homer on Sunday. So they're just getting walked off.
Well, if you're a Cardinals fan and you believe in numbers and you believe your playoff chances and you think you're going to make it, you might have some cognitive dissonance because the numbers say you have a 2.3% chance to make the playoffs. I haven't eliminated them yet, though.
Which team do you like better, the Marlins or the Cardinals?
I like the Marlins better.
And then Marlins or D-backs?
I like the D-backs better. Sorry for being chalk, but I do like the Marlins. The Sandy Alcantara and Yuri Perez have been 2 of the best pitchers in the second half.
Yeah, Yuri Perez, what, like a 1-something ERA over his last 12 starts?
Gotta be. I think the Diamondbacks definitely a better team than both of those teams. I mean, they're pitching better. It does hurt that Soroka's on the IL.
Yeah, it's tough.
It does hurt. But we're going to have to see. 35 games left this season. A lot of ball left to play, guys. A lot of good ball this week. Let's highlight a series, man. What series are we excited for this week?
I mean, obviously, for me, Braves and Dodgers.
Braves, Dodgers, 2 big-time players. Big-time teams with big-time players going after each other. A lot on the line in that series.
Cubs and D-backs. I feel like that's a big one for the Diamondbacks. Not so much for the Cubs, but if the Diamondbacks can win this series, at home too, you can kind of solidify yourself as in the race. Phillies Mariners, I think, is huge for the Mariners.
Huge for the Mariners.
That's
Same
another.
with the Phillies if they want to win the division, if it matters. It's funny because the division doesn't even matter if you don't get the second best record.
It sort of matters because if you're the division winner, you get to face the worst of the wild card teams. But I mean, the difference between 4 and 5 doesn't matter. It's more if you're a wild card team and you're in the 4th or 5th spot, it's more about not being the last one. Oh, we have a Red Sox Yankee series this weekend.
The Red Sox versus the Yankees. A bitter rivalry. Who's at home?
New York.
New York. The Sox are going to New York.
And Scooble returns to Detroit this week.
That's gonna be emotional. It's gonna be very emotional.
Gonna be a lot of school.
I don't know. I don't even know if Tiger fans are gonna show up, man.
I think Tigers fans are a little defeated these days.
They're disgusted by the franchise and the direction they're heading in. But we will see, man. I'm actually most excited to see the Mariners versus the Phillies. They're gonna have to face Wheeler, Luzardo, and Nola, the Mariners. But it's timed. They said the Mariners had like 7 games left against 500 plus teams. So this will be about half of them right here. These 3 games. See what you got, man, motherfuckers. All right. Anything else? We want to get to a couple questions before we head out of here.
There's really not a whole lot of questions, but it's interesting. Madison wants to know who your top 3 current favorite players are. I feel like it's probably been fluctuating a lot this season.
My current 3 favorite players. I love Shohei Ohtani as my number 1. I also really like other players. Damn, bro. My 3 favorite players in MLB this year, right now. I love Shohei. Yeah, for Jan? I can't believe you didn't make your list, Jack. He's jumping for joy. He plays with such spirit.
I understand that maybe you would assume that, but I haven't seen it yet.
You know who I really love, man? All my Braves, dude. I like Michael Harris and Ozzy Albies, bro. I might like him more than Acuna.
I feel like my sleeper favorite Brave right now is Didier Fuentes. He's just this 21-year-old baby face who throws 99 mile an hour 5-seam fastballs or whatever. He has a 3-finger pitch grip on the seams. And youngest pitcher in baseball, 21 years old, has a 2.51 ERA.
Gotta love it. You also gotta love Jim Jarvis down there, just fucking grinding out, fucking slap hitting, fucking.
I did watch him in Baltimore a couple weeks ago, though, and that was rough when he dropped 2 Pete Alonso pop-ups.
Listen, dude, it's tough. The Twilight in Baltimore, famously, orange skies. Orange skies. Okay, yeah. So those are my favorite players right now.
The real Big Foo wants to know, how did Joey meet Jack and Mitch? I look forward to the show every Monday.
Where did we meet, Jack?
We met at Wonderland Ballroom on a Sunday night.
Do you remember?
Yeah, because you were rude.
What?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we've talked about this already. This was like 6 years ago.
What did I say?
I think I said I complimented your crowd work, and you were basically like, whatever, bro, and like walked away, and I was like, oh.
Wow. Well, Jack is famous for thinking everyone's rude to him and everybody hates him, so I wouldn't actually take that as...
I'm famous?
Yes, according to me. So if you're a fan listening, I wouldn't take that as gospel. I would take that as Jack just being a sensitive little crybaby.
Joey could never be rude, right, Jack?
No, it's definitely me.
Yeah, he's being
No, but he's a little bit right. He is a little bit right.
There's definitely... And then I met Mitch on the internet.
I was an employee hire. Just straight applications and
I got him from the
everything.
Mr. Beast factory. A lot of people don't know Mitchell used to work for Mr. Beast.
Matter of fact, didn't we meet Mitch in person on the same day? Hadn't you never? I
I met Joey in person before then.
Oh,
When?
Just not very often.
When did I meet you in person before the podcast?
At like a game or something.
Oh yeah. True.
A few times. But yeah.
That was probably awkward.
Yeah, I was a part-time contract writer for Mr. Beast like 4 or 5 years ago.
So he built that channel up, and now he's trying to build our channel.
Mitch made that channel what it is.
Yeah, if it wasn't for my part-time 10 hours a week or whatever I was doing for them, they would not be what they are today.
What's your favorite video you worked on with Mr. Beast?
I don't really have. My least favorite was the Chocolate Factory one. I think my NDA expired. But so when I first started, they were like, let's come up with a great intro first challenge for the Mr. Beast Wonka factory. And we spent like 3 weeks just trying to figure out their first challenge. And we're throwing out everything. And then they just like completely ignored it. And I think they did like hide and seek or something.
Damn. It's their most watched video ever. Sorry, it's not. What is Mr. Beast? Squid Game. Guess how many views the Squid Game video of Mr. Beast on YouTube has?
600 million.
Jack.
I was gonna say way less than that, so I'm gonna go 424 million.
948 million
God damn.
views.
Matter, we're inching up on 100,000 subs. It's gonna happen this season. It's definitely gonna happen this season because I think we started out at what 40,000 this
Something
season.
like that. We got to get it before the playoffs, guys. Get out there and like and subscribe.
Subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell their friends to tell their friends to subscribe. And we could actually, if you did that method, we'd have more subscribers than Mr. Beast. So
If every single person told their friends and
yeah, you know.
Yeah,
like a
according
chain.
to the math, I suppose that's
Okay.
true. Yeah,
If
it's
you had 5 friends subscribe
Exponential growth.
and their 5 friends told 5 friends to subscribe and then their 5 friends. Exponential growth, man. We'd be Mr. Beast by the end of next week if that happened.
calculus, Joe. You wouldn't get it.
514 million. Sign me up. We'd probably be the most popular channel in baseball. 514 million subs.
Maybe.
Who's to say? You never really know. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. Be good.
Oh, that's an argument.